I did back in the day, like back in the.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados live here on Think Critical YouTube. Your Saturday morning delight is back, and we've got big news happening. The landscape of comic books will never be the same again. Perhaps we will talk about that, and we've got a great panel of experts to discuss these things. Doc is out on assignment, but in for him, we do have returning to the channel the host of Clownfish TV, Neon. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm here. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I'm glad you could make it. I know that you're also trading paper, dude. You still got those comic books for sale?
Still got which comic books? Which comic books for sale? Our comic books? Yeah, we did. Well, not really. We're going to be doing a couple crowdfunders next year. Look at that. Look at that. Here. There we go. We got books. Ooh, look, paper. Awesome. Yeah. We'll be doing some more books next year. Just getting the house in order.
So not everybody realized that you were a longtime artist in the industry.
Yeah, it's really weird, right? Yeah, everybody was very surprised. I did work in comics for a number of years, made a little money, emphasis on little, and got out when I started to see things getting a little weird. I didn't think things were going to get better in the comic book industry financially or otherwise. So I'm like, you know what? I literally could do anything else. So I'm going to go do something else. And that's actually how I met Aaron. Aaron and I have known each other for a long time.
Yeah, you're nuts, Neon. Things are better than they've ever been.
Things are better than they've ever been.
Comic shop thriving right now. But yes, Neon and I met many years ago. Neon was actually one of my first choices to because I wasn't going to be allowed to write the Darkwing Duck book. I was just going to be allowed to kind of like give my plots to somebody else and not get the writer credit. And I found Neon did some art online for a pitch, and I was like, well, I'll hire this guy. And then it turned out that Chip Mosher hated you because you dared to post sales numbers.
I have not changed at all. I am exactly the same person I was like 15 years ago. I shoot my mouth off. I get myself in trouble. I get online heat. That's what I do.
But if someone says that Neon's a comic book tourist, it's not true. He's actually been a professional comic book artist for decades at this point.
For real companies.
Early 2000s, I think I started. Yeah. So it's been a while. Yeah.
So what's going on with the Clownfish? I know you got D-Res going on. You got any other things people should be paying attention to?
Right now, no. Going into 2026 is going to be a pretty big year, I think, for us. We're going to pivot into some different stuff. I can't talk about everything yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. So I think it'll be a good year. I think it'll be a good year for Clownfish in 2026.
Very nice. And you are closing the chapter. I know you've been talking a lot about you had a retro arcade, right?
Yeah, am I allowed to talk about that?
It's up to you, dude. It's your retro arcade.
No. So yeah, I didn't really think much of it. I put a post up the other day. We actually had a retail location for over 4 years. I never mentioned it online. The reason I never mentioned it online is one, it has nothing to do really with what we do, the podcast, and two, we were dealing with a lot of mentally unhinged people at the time when we opened, and I'm like, I don't want them showing up to the location and harassing my employees. But yeah, we're closing that chapter, which we gave retail a shot. I gotta tell you, hats off to shop owners. Retail is very, very hard. The margins are very, very slim. And, I got some other businesses. So I'm looking at retail. Like, again, it was kind of a time sink. It was like we could spend all of our time working retail and making like a little bit of profit if we're lucky, or we could close that down and go do some other stuff, which is going to be more profitable. And our lease was coming due, and we were like spending a lot of money on the rent every month. I'm like, you know what? I love it, but let's just bag it. Let's move on to something else.
Well, very nice. Glad to have your expertise, because we definitely are going to be talking about the entertainment industry, which you've been covering for a long time on multiple outlets.
Yeah, unfortunately. For people who don't like us, we don't shut up. We're like cockroaches. We never die. Like, you think you can get rid of us, and then we just go do something else and we come back. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Jim, someone's stealing your bit, dude.
What's that?
Is that your pitch? Are you the cockroach?
Jim's the guy that doesn't die.
Indestructible, Jim.
I tried to, though. That's the problem. I actually am willing to go. But
Jim Yearns
I'm
for the state
begging
release of
for
that.
it. Like, yes, please take me away, Calgon. I went out.
So, Jim, we haven't had you on the channel here for like 6 weeks, but you haven't had a really bad accident in that time. You've been relatively safe.
Yeah, I haven't really had that many problems. Like, actually, the house is like kind of a house now, so I can't like fall through imaginary walls or down steps that become unhinged. So yeah,
You can take a number 2 in peace.
Yeah, I can take a number 2 in peace, or I can lounge on a couch that had a bunch of number 2s on it. But then, you know, that's about it. That's we do have a couch that my son admitted then that he got off the curb and was covered in dog stuff, and yeah, it was nice. But it smells like Febreze now, so it's okay.
Oh, that's right. I get a rash.
If you
every
get
time I sit on
ringworm,
it.
Jim, I'm gonna say you've been asking for it. By sitting
That
on
might
couch,
be.
man.
It might be. But yeah, that couch is pretty sus, but it's fine. But yeah, no, I haven't really had any problems. Just normal, like almost dying of old age, I guess. But other than that, fine. Everything's good.
Very, very good. And your Sus Records is blowing up. I know you had like a recent meeting with some bigwigs in like the music industry. Apparently, you got talent.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's what I don't know that they said that either. But yeah. So things are going, but who knows? I don't plan things, so it just ends up happening.
Did you hear the big news about Aaron Sparrow?
No, I haven't.
He discovered your Dolly Parton dirty song.
Oh, I did hear that. I thought there was actually going to be actual big news, not that he listened to some songs. But yes, he listened to some songs and gave me some compliments that I enjoyed, because it is a little bit beyond just being dirty. There's some cleverness to it, I hope. So people can
Yeah, it was. It came up organically. That was the funny part. Is I was listening to Conway Twitty, which was a a 50 Cent song done in the style of Conway Twitty, and then it goes, and then of course the algorithm's like, you are watching the hell out of this, and here's something else, and it started to play, and I was like, oh, this is funny. Who's this? And then I was like, oh, this is Jim's channel. Am I not subbed? So
yeah, it came in, and unfortunately, I think the song that you were talking about is demonetized, so it's like, oh god. So I was like, oh man, it's doing great. It's got over like 2 million views.
That was the crazy
nothing
thing.
that helps. Nothing that helps me. So that sucks. It sucks, but it's still okay.
That's the life of a dirty song, man, Jim.
It is.
You're always towing the line.
You are always towing the line, and recently though, Wes, you had told me that you had a bunch of times that you had things, not taken down but demonetized, and you always appealed and you won every one. And I said, well, it's tough when you don't know what they're trying to demonetize, and you're like, man, this isn't that dirty, but the name of it is, it's not going to suck itself. So you don't have much of a, foot to go in on. But lo and behold, the last like 10 times, because this happens on the daily, last like 10 times I won the appeal. So I think they're coming my way. That's what's happening. It's all looking good.
He brings up a good point there, Neon. I've certainly noticed it, and I know a lot of other YouTubers, probably including you, have noticed. Now that they've got like AI policing all of YouTube, they are fucking with a lot of people.
Yeah, it's look, I got some theories as to what's going on. I think we talked about it before. I talked to other YouTubers, and my personal opinion is this isn't a bug, it's a feature. I think they're trying to discourage some people from being on the platform. I don't think it's political. I think it comes down to money. It's expensive to host video. It's expensive to host live streams. The more people we discourage from being on the platform, the better our bottom line is going to be. So we're just going to focus on the people that make us more money, keep them happy. And sometimes you screw up a little bit, but yeah, there's definitely something weird going on, and it's all about, I think, just Google trying to maximize their bottom line.
I agree. And Neon, here's the thing. Like I said, in the idea of it is I was losing every appeal. The minute that I started making some money, once I started getting some grip in, all of a sudden now they're a little more lenient when I appeal. But they're grabbing things like, again, dirty songs and things. You'll have something by, say, an artist named Dick Gazinia, right? Just as a little goof. But what ends up happening is, instead of them they'll just catch that first name, and then they'll demonetize it because of that. And I'm like, Really?
The write-ups are important. We actually got hit a couple of years ago. We put a link to an article about I forget, it had violence or something in it, but because the title of the article, we just put links to the articles, and people were like, why don't you put links so we can go read the article ourselves?
Dangerous.
Because we got a strike because in the link, I think it said like the F-bomb or something about violence.
Yep.
And then we actually got a strike up like you're inciting violence. I'm like, no, I'm just putting a link to the article. So we don't link anymore.
Wow.
People were getting on us about AI thumbnails. I'm like, you know why we do that? Because we have copyright trolls coming after us for using, Getty Images or something like that. Or some rando photographer that they said they have the rights to. And we've had run-ins with those people. So it's like, there's a reason we do what we do. It's a pain in the ass. It's all about money. Everybody wants money. They're trying to shake everybody down for money.
Dude, I had a video that had some background music, maybe for 30 seconds in it. And to use the royalty-free music, you had to include a link to the website to accredit the artist.
Yeah.
And they flagged the link because it said something about royalty-free in it. I was like, what are you doing? I have to put it in here to have the music, and it's not even worth it.
Yeah, with my stuff, I like to link to where they can go and download the songs and things like that. Well, you have to kind of edit the titles a bit. You put little asterisks and stuff in it. But when I have the songs where they can go and download them, I don't have that because it's the song. But if I actually had those links, I'm just like Neon said, I can't really link to a lot of stuff now. I just have to avoid that and just have, hey, for all our songs, go here. And it's kind of a pain in the ass. It really is.
Yeah, they do not make it easy. But I'm glad that you're okay, Jim, and that you had a good Thanksgiving. You ended up having an impromptu day after Thanksgiving dinner because I think one of your sons had a bad Thanksgiving dinner.
He had a really bad
Thanksgiving
dinner. Yep, he did a do-over. Yep, he did. And lo and behold, I also still been reading some comics too. It seems like, all I'm talking about dirty songs, but still reading some comics. Me and Wes doing our show when I arrive, doing our hot or not, and I yell at him and scream and do that.
It's a good thing you don't do it with Sully, because I guarantee you Sully thinks Ultimate Universe 2 years in was good this week.
I didn't even touch it. I didn't go there. No way. I skipped that. And
I think I forgot. I think I forgot to send Sully the books this week. So I keep forgetting. I'm so not in tune.
With the new GM thing.
I have to just say,
the new GM
first off, I get to shout out to Dylan and Sully, who tried to steal my thunder when they showed up on the show, and everybody loved them, except the one guy who said that they got annoyed by Sully, and that really pissed me off. I was yelling about that on me and Wes's show.
Oh man!
The only people that get to make fun of Sully are his friends. We don't take no anonymous making fun of Sully.
We put ourselves out here on the TV, so it's like, if you can't take it, don't come out here. What did Q say to Picard? If you can't take a bloody nose once in a while, then why are you out here?
Is that what he said?
Something
he
like
said
that.
He did say.
Did you enjoy the big week from DC Comics? We got some DCKO stuff there, Sully.
No, not much. I didn't read. I think I read. What did I read this week?
You had to got Superman versus Captain Atom.
No.
What?
No.
So.
I got one DC comic this week, and it was a back issue because Wes brought it up last week, and it just magically popped up on the shelves, and it was the Lobo Christmas special for $4. I couldn't say no because I'm going to decorate my spinner rack with my Santa covers.
Did you read it yet?
No, I haven't read it yet.
It's
but you raved about it. I'm looking forward to that.
The Lobo Paramilitary Christmas.
Yeah,
I got
he kills the shit out of Santa in that book. Spoilers.
Ooh, cool. Yeah, no DC comics this week. No Marvel comics this week. I just got Dark Horse and Image books. Yeah.
It was a bit of a weird week, but it in theory was going to be big, Dylan, because you got the Captain Atom Superman book, and then Night Fight 2. And I don't know. By the end of the Captain Atom book, I was pretty confused.
I mean, it's a little weird, but I enjoyed it. Night Fight, Dan Mora kills it in that book. Like, I don't understand how Dan Mora is doing so much and still has the time to make it look that good. There's some really cool looking stuff in Night Fight.
Yeah, if only the story could keep up.
Story's fine. It's nothing special, but it's fun.
Nothing special is about the way to say it. I think I've read this story 4 times where Superman Batman's in his own head, realizing that his kids are better than him, and as he transitions between each child.
I heard Sus Gabe describe it as Batman tripping through multiverse versions of himself, and I'm like, didn't this like just happen in Chip Zdarsky's run? You know?
Yeah, but it's actually good this time because there's a decent writer doing it. It's not Chip Zdarsky. That's the plus. It's Joshua Williamson.
Nobody in editorial pays attention to whether they're doing things over again or even if they're doing the same thing. You know, you got 2 Punisher books out right now that have the same plot.
I, for one, would not blame editorial for not reading Chip Zdarsky's Batman run.
Well, no, I would not either. Because after a couple of issues, I was like,
the problem is they were on the book being editorial, so they should have maybe paid attention at that time. They don't have to go back and read it.
Recently, Marvel had 3 books with essentially the same plot involving Deadpool and Wolverine all going on at the exact same time. I was like, these guys should probably talk to each other.
Well, they figure that, you know, hey, like nobody's reading these books, or if they are, they're just reading one. So if we just put out 3 of the books with the same story and same plot, you know, basically the same thing. I mean, we're just, you know, kind of shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah. So, Dylan, what's going on over there at the Real Comic Book Gamer? You got any big videos that popped off this week or planned up?
Yeah, I just did a video talking about like all the random comics I read in October because generally, you know, I make videos about the new comics that come out, but then I still read a bunch of other like trades, hardcovers, omnis, and all that. And I was like, I'm just gonna make a video talking about that. So I did that, and that'll be up later today. So that was fun.
You want to give a little teaser? What random books did you read?
I read Robin 3 Cry of the Huntress. I read Batman the Blue, the Gray, and the Bat, which was the Elliot Maggin Elseworlds Western Batman, which was a lot of fun. I read Scumbag, which was terrible. I love Rick Remender, but that book sucks. It is awful. Yeah, I read a lot. Yeah.
No G.I. Joe?
No G.I. Joe for this, no. No, I mean, there's a bunch more. I'm not going to list everything I read, but no, G.I. Joe was not a part of it.
Neon, are you reading the new G.I. Joe stuff?
I'm lapsed. I haven't picked up in a couple of months. I've been busy, but no, I do like the Iron Giant universe quite a bit. Yeah.
Are you reading the Real American Hero from Larry Hama?
No, I haven't picked that up yet.
It has been excellent since it came over to Skybound. It has been really, really good.
I'm glad they're giving him work. I mean, he was in a really bad place there for a while.
Yeah, and the Chris Mooneyham art when he's the illustrator, it's just like it's one of the better illustrated G.I. Joe books ever, really.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well,
But I know you're an 80s and 90s nostalgia guy.
Am I?
Right?
I guess. That means I'm
You like He-Man?
I like He-Man. I liked He-Man a lot more before, but yeah, no, I like He-Man.
Come on, Neon. You're the only other person that in Stranger Things, that Stranger Things season, besides me, that was like, this isn't right. Ultra Magnus was not out in that year. He wasn't out till the following year. What is this?
I drive my wife crazy because she's like, you are like really spurging out over like little details like that. Like I watch a movie, I'm like, that arcade cabinet did not come out in this year. That book was not out this year. They would not have worn those clothes. That store was not open in this year.
Yep.
Like I was a mall rat when I was a kid. I'm like, no. That was not the right Orange Julius logo. They got rid of the devil at that point. Why is it in the, yeah. I drive her nuts watching it. She's like, shut up and watch a movie. I'm like, but it's wrong.
There shouldn't be
watch the movie.
There shouldn't be a Yes King in this mall.
Right? It's just like but yeah, no. I guess I'm living in the past, right?
I like nostalgia stuff, but you've got an entire thing behind you that's basically a tribute to the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, hey, it was a good time.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think that we're kind of looking through rose tinted glasses though sometimes. Like what I'm seeing is like there's a lot of interest in retro, but it's sort of this distorted funhouse mirror version of what things were like. Like I know we talk a lot about this on the channel. Like there are kids that are really into like 80s and 90s stuff, but they think the 90s was like literally like Friends. Yeah, like everybody had this insane large apartment in New York for, a couple $1,000s a month or whatever. And when you actually look into it, it's like, no, it was a pretty good time though. I think really what I miss is the lack of the internet. Most people didn't have the internet, right? So we didn't know.
Cell phones ruined me. Yeah.
Cell phones, like always being available, right? And that sucks. It's a double-edged sword. It's like, it was great to be able to just leave the house. And when you're out of the house, you're gone. When you're at work, you were gone. When you're sleeping, you're sleeping. The phone's not ringing unless somebody's dead. And now it's like, oh, look, new tweet. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I feel like we were less connected back then than we are now, but we were closer together. I think we're a little more human than we are now. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
So I think what people miss is that era, just maybe not necessarily the entertainment, but just that era of a pre-internet life.
I've tried to go back and watch some of those cartoons. Like you try to read Thundercats, and I remember loving Thundercats.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to watch when you're 45 years old.
Yeah,
Cartoon's not good.
Like tried watching G.I. Joe or A Real American Hero on series 2, the DIC years. I'm like, those are
no, I don't even touch
unwatchable.
DIC. For the longest time I was afraid to eat apples when I was a kid because I remember the bio monsters or whatever going to the apple orchard. That's how the Joes killed them because the poison in the apple seeds. So I thought, well, if I eat apples, I'm gonna drop dead because G.I. Joe taught me that.
Knowing's half the battle, dude.
Yeah, so stay the hell away from the apples, right?
I don't scuba dive because I'm afraid of tube worms. So it's like G.I. Joe.
Oh my gosh!
There you go.
You can still watch the original G.I. Joe, Transformers, all that stuff kind of holds up, but not everything holds up. Like Voltron, not quite as good as I remember.
Transformers, you can go and watch them visit the Middle Eastern nation of Carbamia. It's fantastic. It's so politically incorrect. It's great.
Isn't that what Casey Kasem quit the show for? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He was the voice of Bumblebee, right? No, that was Mike Jumper. A Cliff Jumper, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shaggy Rogers.
Yeah, he sounded just like Shaggy. Yeah, that was like a whole thing. And they're probably like, your toys discontinued. We don't care.
So what's been going on with you, Aaron? I see that you finally have some Christmas trees in your background. Finally.
Yeah. It's like my desk is no longer like positioned to where you can see the tree in the background. So I like to be festive. So I got that. I got my Santa shirt. I'm feeling good.
And you haven't changed clothes since last night because you was out.
No, I did change clothes. I came home and showered and changed clothes. I did not wear this.
I think you were walking around the bar with mistletoe trying to get kisses.
No, listen, let me tell you, Wes, I smell great right now, okay?
Never say that to another man.
So where'd you go? Did you go to a tiki bar? Did you go to Chili's?
Yeah, Chili's. No, I went to there's an all-night Arby's and I went and hung out with
all-night Arby's.
Oh yeah.
I slapped on some Sex Panther.
Yeah, No, it's funny you talk about like the spontaneity of the way things used to be before we had the internet. There's a great Mr. Levinstein comic strip where there's a guy just sitting in a bathroom stall and he's on his phone, and then all of a sudden some dude's head is underneath the stall and he's like, "Look at you, just sitting there on your phone when you could be living in the moment." And then it's like, the guy's head is gone and the other dude's just sitting there with his phone like, So yeah, but no, I mean, lots of good stuff is happening. We sent Doomface off to print, so we'll have some updates soon on when that's going to actually supposedly come in. I'm talking to a fulfillment company right now because I decided that I don't want to do any of that myself.
It's half the fun.
Yeah, you know what though? It's like I can't. I got too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
Got some big meetings next week to finalize some stuff. Maybe got some other stuff in the works. So yeah, everything's going well.
I would love to see a picture of you in your tiny apartment with no space whatsoever because of all the packing material in the books.
Well, the problem is I do have room in my apartment, but right now RossCon is going on, which if you know, that means that all the Ross Dress for Less are getting a huge amount of like closeout toys. So there's all kinds of stuff that is on deep discount. And I've been out just like grabbing stuff like for the Toys for Tots drive, for the church toy drive, and for Doc. So it's like I've been picking up Joe's for Doc. Found Jinx and Agent Helix. I thought about asking you, Wes, do you need Jinx and Agent Helix? But are your boys even going to want to play with girls? I don't know. What do you think?
They like K-pop demon hunters. I assume that they could play with the Ninja Girl.
Oh,
I had a Baroness, a Cover Girl, and a Scarlet in 82, 83.
Yeah, so well, my boys are a little bit more butch than you. I'm going to be honest. Aaron was on the right track.
Do you remember how large Cover Girl's head was? Yeah. Like she was like a hydrocephalic on that figure. Like her head was massive.
The redhead, like that bob cut thing. Yeah.
But even her face, like they did not scale. Like the scale was off on a lot of those figures. Sometimes you'd like put one guy next to the other. I remember Sneak Peek looked super fat, and then when you looked at the card art, he looked like a baby. Like he just had like this. Like they tried to like just really do some realistic look on his face, and he just looked like a fat baby. And because of that, I always hated Sneak Peek.
All right, Neon. The three major action figures when we were growing up were He-Man, G.I. Joe, and Transformers. What was your number one, dude?
Transformers, but they're really expensive.
Exactly.
They were because people don't like realize it was $25 in 80s money. It was like $1 million.
They were made out of like titanium.
They were the
You
first
could kill
couple of years.
somebody
Yeah.
with the old school Transformer.
But the ones I bought the most, probably G.I. Joe. I had a ton of G.I. Joe because I could buy. They were like $3 each.
Mm-hmm.
So I could buy G.I. Joes with my lawn mowing money or whatever, and I had a lot of G.I. Joe. I had I would say I probably had the most G.I. Joe out of anything, but Transformers were my favorite, but they were birthday parties, Christmas, because they were so damn expensive.
Yeah.
What's
But
the
the
biggest?
G.I. Joes, because they were cheap, you could go out in the backyard and you could build an entire like play for it with like stands and stuff. And the whole,
Oh yeah,
stand guard stuff.
And you could mix them up with if you had Star Wars figures, they were kind of the same scale, so everybody could fight and
they could fly each other's spaceships and planes. I had the Rattler and the Sky Striker. I was so spoiled. My parents were divorced, so I got divorced. Only child divorced kids. I aged out in '86 when I was 13. I couldn't buy any more. I wasn't allowed. I hit 13 and it was like, okay, you can't play with toys anymore.
Time
You
to
can't
pick
buy
up some
toys.
smokes, kid.
Wait,
Grow up.
Here's a pack of Marlboro Reds.
oh my
It's
god!
time to go work in the mines.
It's called Flavor Country.
Okay, wait, Neon.
Wow.
What was your biggest playset that you had? Your biggest G.I. Joe playset?
G.I. Joe.
Mhm.
Oh my god, let me think about it. Rolling Thunder. I think I had that. I got that for
Oh.
Christmas one year,
I
and that
never
was
had
crazy.
Rolling Thunder.
Oh, Rolling Thunder was awesome. Yeah, I never had the base. The neighbor kid, he had everything. He didn't have the flag though. I didn't know a single kid that had the aircraft carrier. I didn't know a
either.
single kid.
Even the spoiled kid at my school did not have the aircraft carrier.
I knew it existed because I saw commercials and it was in the Sears catalog, and that thing's gospel, right? So if it's in the Sears catalog, it's got to exist somewhere. Somebody's got to have this thing. I never saw one in the wild until I was older. Until I was like
My Toys R Us had him. I remember, like as a kid, like grabbing that box and like telling my mom that I wanted it, which was a mistake because that was never going to happen. not my mom. And,
god, yeah, that was like what $120 in 80s money. That was,
but
insane.
it was bigger than me at the time. Like I was like, oh, like I'm trying to like move this box around so I can look at the back, and it's like I could barely move it. But yeah, what about you? So you said you had the Rattler and the Sky Striker, Sully. What's your biggest playset?
My biggest playset had to have been, well, it was Star Wars, and an Irish relative bought it for me. It was the Death Star playset, and it was like 4 stories in scale.
Yep.
And it was just remarkable toy. That, and I had the Darth Vader Star Destroyer bridge. That was cool as hell as well. I had the Y-wing and the X-wing. So I mean, I had bigger Star Wars toys. I didn't have any. G.I. Joe, though, you're right, Neon. I mean, because they were inexpensive. I had more G.I. Joe action figures, like 82 through 86, and play sets too, like the jump jetpack, the ram gun. I mean, the ram cycle, the flak. You know what I mean? Like the bivouac kit. That was so fun because that was that looked real. That was so cool.
Oh yeah. I remember those little playsets were actually a lot of fun.
I had, you know what I mean, the snake armor. I had like
$5 tier.
I had Cobra Commander mail away. I had Duke mail away, like the silver face mail away, not the hooded one. I mean, I was in primo G1, a Real American Hero, that and the comic book. You know what I mean, too. Good times.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Those were too expensive. We just got Snake Mountain because the He-Man stuff was so cheap. It just has a hinge and some stuff on it.
I didn't have Snake Mountain. I wanted Snake Mountain.
Snake Mountain was cool. It had that microphone with that tin wire that reverberated your voice through the little shitty speaker. That was so cool.
I got one later at a yard sale, but I was too old to have any fun with it, really.
I didn't want it because it didn't look like the show, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" It was like a.
You're already annoying the women.
I was already annoying. I would like look at it.
That's
I'm like,
not accurate.
It's not show accurate. I don't want it.
That's why I didn't want Grayskull. Like and it was under the tree. And I went to a friend's house and he got it. He was Jewish, so he had it early. And so so it's like, but in my head I had built it up to be like this really cool thing, like the cartoon, and it would have all these, it's like it's gonna have all this stuff and blah blah blah. And then when I went over and played with it, I was like, this sucks. And I went home and I was all like, Castle Grayskull sucks. Not knowing it was under the tree, and it went back.
Oh God, isn't that embarrassing? Like you're like trash talking something, and you decide you don't want for Christmas, and your parents already bought it for you.
Yeah, they took it back and got something else. I can't remember what they got instead, but I got something else.
Yeah, so we've been complaining since we were about everything.
You should listen. Have Wes tell you some story. The story sometime about his uncle taking him to see Empire Strikes Back. And how he immediately went into completely cynical.
Yes, I went into thinking critical mode when I was like 3 or 4 years old.
So it's not just age, right? It's just in the DNA. Like some of us are just born grumpy.
80s kid.
Yeah.
My uncle went to take me to the film, and it was sold out because it was opening weekend. So he was going to take me to see Kroll. And I stormed off. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "This is a jip, man. You said I was coming to see Star Wars." And I just running away from him. But I love Kroll to this day. It was such a great movie. But at the time, I guess I was disappointed.
Yeah. I think I kind of missed I missed peak Star Wars because I saw Empire Strikes Back, the second or third release right before they came out with Jedi. Like my first memories of Star Wars, really, it was seeing Return of the Jedi in the theater. And I thought it was weird because I'm like, I just saw the last one. So these come out like every couple of months or what? Like, when's the next one come out?
Are you going to watch it when the original New Hope, restored 4K version comes out?
No, it won't. A New Hope is not the original.
Well,
they keep
it's
saying
not.
They're like,
it's going to
release
just Star Wars.
Just Star Wars.
But they're re-releasing it. It's been 4K'd up, and it's not going to have any of the new stuff that was added.
Yeah, I'll watch it. Now
I'm going to see it.
There's a whole. It's weird, we talk about Star Wars, and we talk about fans bitching about stuff, but there was a whole movement. I remember where we had people that only acknowledged the original Star Wars as being Star Wars for a while, like back in the 80s. You go back and you look at some of the fanzines and stuff like that, and they were like, yeah, there's only one Star Wars movie. So I'm like, things have not changed at all. I mean, they really haven't. People just kind of pick their headcanon, and a lot of people are like, the original is the only Star Wars. Special editions aren't Star Wars. Anything that's been tweaked after 1977 is not actually Star Wars. Holiday special doesn't exist, until it does, until we need to make merchandise. So it'll be interesting to see people's reaction to it. And I think we'll have a lot of kids be like, God, that looks really low rent. It looks really low budget.
Dylan, are you going to go see it in IMAX? It's got to be coming out in IMAX, right?
I doubt they'll release an IMAX, but yeah, it'll be on the big screen. They very rarely do they re-release these movies in IMAX. The Shining is going to be re-released in IMAX next weekend, though, so that'll be cool. But yeah, I doubt Star Wars is going to get IMAX. But yeah,
that was some good news, because that'll be the first good Star Wars movie since Rogue One.
Ooh.
Yep.
Very nice. Let's acknowledge the new peoples that are supporting us on the Patreon and channel memberships. Thank you very much to Jose Avila. Welcome back to the family, aka Pluma Poderosa, the protector of Skyward Keep. And welcome to Thinking Critical Patreon and channel memberships foremost expert, aka Evermind, the protector of the Mind Spire. If you'd like to support us on Patreon or channel memberships, you get awesome bonus videos and podcasts. There's links in the video description. You get a superhero name and a city to protect. And we have a lot of fun there. We've got people talking here. Sam Romero, 21. This Netflix buyout is completely blackpilling. Let's lighten it up a bit. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke, easy.
It's
Pepsi.
I grew up on Pepsi, and now I find it disgusting. I'd rather drink Shasta than Pepsi at this point.
Oh God! Ouch!
No, I do like Coke Zero. Coke Zero.
I'm black-pilled on Pepsi.
Oh, original cherry Coke. There's nothing in the world like it. It was like 1986.
Wild cherry Coke is good. You're correct. So, Jim, what are you selling? Is it Coke or Pepsi?
Mr. Pibb.
I like Mr. Pibb as well too. I'm a Dr. Pepper.
RC Cola.
RC Cola.
No, you gotta start naming You guys start naming the generic ones, like the generic doctor.
Yes.
The Southern Lightning, Dr.
I think it's
Thunder.
Dr. Thunder, yeah.
Mountain Lightning. I remember my kids were like, "Who's this doctor?" I forget what the Dr. Pepper, doctor. I might be Dr. Pibb. I don't even know what the hell it was.
How about
Dr.
Big
Thunder.
Red?
Yeah.
Big Red. It's
Mountain Lightning though.
Big Red is
that's
delicious. That's just cream
It's
soda.
cream soda with red food color.
Yeah.
I think it's great that you take a drink that's made with prunes and you put lightning in the title.
Yes.
Prunes, a warrior's drink.
Nah, that one's I think Coca's far better.
Yeah.
Decrepit Hail Aficionados. Has anyone read Blue Falcon and Dynamite? Reading it today when I grabbed my pull list. Aaron, Fresno, California again soon. Slowly nice hat. So I know, Dylan, you are reading Blue Falcon and Dynamite.
Yes, I'm enjoying it. Not the greatest art. There's a lot of reused art in the panels, but I'm enjoying it. I like Blue Falcon and Dynamite because I grew up on a lot of Scooby-Doo and they would show up every now and again. So I always liked Blue Falcon and Dynamite. So seeing them have their own comic is cool, and Paul Miotti's writing, and it's been pretty good so far. Enjoying it.
Very nice. Aaron, are you going to show up in Fresno anytime soon?
Well, first of all, Dylan, are you telling me a Dynamite book has reused art? No. The hell you say? God, just Dynamite, you're such a tragedy to me. You could be so good. Fresno, I didn't make it this year, although I was supposed to be there because I had emergency jaw surgery. But I'm hoping that I can make it up to him by coming out next year. So fingers crossed.
And nice hat, Sully. It says nice.
Thank you. It says nice right there. Yeah.
Do you
But
think
it's
he's
also-
saying it's a nice hat, or is he acknowledging it's a nice hat?
He's
It says
Well,
nice.
that's the whole thing of
He's
irony.
scrolling
You
with
don't
them.
know whether they're making fun of you or not. It's a fine line between clever and stupid. It was said in Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
I almost
And
wore
I'm
my
always
team.
straddling it.
I almost wore my Team Naughty T-shirt today. Man, I would have been in opposition to Sully. I can't have that.
I wore my Comics Aficionados T-shirt. I dressed for the occasion.
Beautiful, dude.
Yeah, you can get your own in the shop on this very page. Go hit that tag.
Look at you shilling. Look at you shilling.
Chilling for
Let
the media.
everyone know that you spend every Saturday hanging out with your Doom uncles.
Exactly. Hey, I wear it to cons and I get recognized too. So this is true.
Galb says, not that I care. One of the Supergirl actors is going to prison for 6 months, and James Gunn will something about it while filming something with his wife.
Filming porn starring his wife.
I don't think he's actually going to do that, but I guess maybe it's because she's in the Peacemaker season 2. But she
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
in the scene. Was she?
I think he's just saying because she's making out with John Cena. And
Oh,
James
I
Gunn
didn't make
directed
it
The
through
I think that's
character
it.
was not
2
the
episodes or
wife.
something. Yeah.
That's weird.
So why is that guy going to prison, Neon?
Which guy?
If I remember correctly,
actor.
he plays like the villain in the Supergirl movie. I saw
Okay.
the headline on Twitter. He's been caught driving without a license a ton of times, and he's so that's why he keeps doing it. From what I saw,
Oh.
he's speeding without a license a dozen times.
That's it. He didn't
Something
kill somebody.
like that. Yeah, he hasn't killed anyone, but he's done that and maybe some worse stuff. But no, I don't think any. I don't.
DUIs, maybe? Is that?
Maybe DUIs.
It's
but I-
California. It's the no bail state. You just go home once you break the law.
Well, no,
He might
California.
have been
You can
doing
only.
this also overseas though. I think this guy might be European. I can't remember.
Yeah,
you can
I
only-
literally
Your
just
fault.
read the headline. That was it.
You can only get away with DUIs in California if you're illegal. That's the only way that you get. I had to go to court a couple years ago for traffic, and I had some parking tickets that weren't under my weren't under my windshield. I don't know if people pulled them out or what, but I got the notice, and so I had to go into court and straighten it out. And I had to sit there for 2 hours before they called my case, and it was just one illegal after the other. DUI.
Mr. DC Comics not excited about Netflix and Warner Brothers. I just hope they keep all the veterans in Warner Brothers that know how to properly make movies. Netflix can learn a lot of things from Warner Brothers. I do not believe or foresee that being the case, Neon.
No.
Because if you look at Warner Brothers, it's an enormous company.
Yeah.
And if you look at Netflix, their company is for what they do is tiny. I imagine they're going to be getting rid of everybody and doing it the Netflix way.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think they're going to rock the boat too hard at first, but I think they're going to take a look at the situation. They're going to assess who they need, who they don't need. They basically are going to have their pick of the best of Warner Brothers, And I think that's what they're going to do is they're going to cherry pick the IP, and then whatever doesn't make a lot of sense financially or whatever, they're just going to get rid of it, cut it loose or mothballed or something.
Yeah, I would expect people in Warner Brothers to be integrated in the Netflix way, but it's going to take several years. This is an enormous consolidation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people are out there. They're like, okay, like as soon as the ink dries, everybody's getting fired. I'm like, no, I don't think they're going to work that fast. I think it's going to take a couple of years. But long term, there's going to be some shrinkage because you don't have to do double duty. People have Netflix. I guarantee you the prices are going to go up on Netflix. You got to bankroll all that stuff. And it's one less competitor they have with HBO or HBO Max or whatever the hell they're calling it now. But they're just going to cherry pick IP. They're going to be like, we got our Harry Potter, we got our, Game of Thrones, we got whatever they have the rights to, Batman, whatever. And the rest of the stuff, the 100 years of whatever. We'll throw it on the platform that's more watch time, but we're not going to make any new thing.
How long ago was it that Disney bought Marvel?
2012.
So 13 years ago.
Yeah.
They're just now finally incorporating Marvel Comics into their publishing division.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long it takes to fully integrate and do these kind of consolidations.
I would say Netflix will probably move faster because they are a tech company first. They are smaller. Aaron can vouch, Disney is a many-headed beast. It's several companies within one larger umbrella, but sometimes the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. Netflix seems like they're laser focused on what they want to do.
Correction, so. 2009.
Yeah, it's 2009. 2012 was Lucas.
Yeah.
So it's been 16 years, and they're just now fully integrating some parts of Marvel into Disney. So these things take a while. Kyle says, I said this before when I saw that dumbass close-up of Hawk Girl screaming. I knew it was over. I know cynical. There's not going to be a Batman sequel.
Ooh. Yeah.
They just cast ScarJo, dude. The Batman 2, I think, will happen. I think we'll get that Supergirl in Clayface for certain.
We had said at one point that we were like, well, I mean, until we hear something solid, it just seems like Batman is vaporware. It's like they keep talking about Batman 2, but like it's not moving. It's just been sitting there. But now it looks like they're finally moving forward with it. So, it's vaporware up until the point that it isn't. But like everything eventually, it seems like everything eventually gets made. They just did a thing on Red Letter Media, What Are Next, where it was like, a lot of these things that get put out or get announced, or they say like a script is in development. Sometimes it's just trial balloons. They're kind of like floating it to see what the reaction is, to see if they should move forward with something. But they'll probably get around to it anyway because they're just rebooting everything continuously with shorter and shorter windows.
Look, Ghostbusters 3, that was in development hell. There actually was a website out there, like old internet. It was called like Development Hell. And they were talking about like all the attempts to do a third Ghostbusters movie for years. And basically what we got is the video game was what Dan Aykroyd, I think, had in mind for the third movie. Thankfully they got made with, Harold Ramis, but like it took a long time. It's just, you got to get the right executive, the right stars have to align. The budget's got to be there. The appetite from the public's got to be there. And you got to have an executive dumb enough to say, here, have a couple $1 million and
$200 million now.
Couple $100 million. Don't burn it, please. Thank you very much. Yeah.
What did you think of the Batman? I went back and watched it for a second time, and now it's down there with Batman Forever for me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, terrible. Batman and Robin.
It peaks in Act 2. I mean, it's all about the reveal of the Batmobile and the big chase. That is the climax of the movie, and that's Act 2. Then you have another hour left of the thing, and the flood, and all the on-nose political and cultural stuff, like Riddler's army being incel chuds from the chat room, stuff like that. And it's just, oh gosh. And then the flashing strobe lights and Nirvana music, I was like, oh gosh, it was not a great movie. Good cast. I mean, Jeremy Irons was an interesting Alfred. I didn't mind.
He's
Zoe
not
Potter.
Alfred in this movie. He's Alfred in Batman vs Superman.
Oh, okay. That
it all blends together.
It was the guy that played Gollum, man.
It's Andy
Serkis.
Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. It was more. That was like Jeff Johns' Earth One, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I mean, I didn't like it. Sorry,
I didn't either. How about you, Neon? Did you like it?
It was okay. I guess my thing was that it kind of felt like a budget. Okay, the one thing I did like is Batman was actually doing some detective work I don't think we've seen that in the, we haven't seen that very much in the movies. But I'm getting kind of tired of ultra realistic Batman, right? We did it with Nolan, and Nolan did it better, I think, than anybody else is going to be able to do. Could we get comic book Batman back? Could we do?
Thank you.
Could we do comic book Batman? I like comic book Batman. I want him in his blue and gray tights again. Let's just just roll with it. I mean, it's one thing I didn't really care a whole lot for the Superman movie because I didn't feel like a Superman movie, but the cast was great and the look was great. It looked like a comic book. It felt like a comic book. I want to see that done with Batman.
They tried to do that. They tried to go to do a comic book Batman in the Flash movie, and nobody wanted that because of Ezra Miller. I mean, I'm the one with the least amount of problems with that dumb movie. I thought it was fun. And I liked all three Batman, all the approaches of Batman, and that was very fun to me. So, especially
Jadman 2, aka Shenanigans. To see how comics news is going, one of the sites went after Frank Cho posting art for sale that are risque parody covers for thousands of bucks. They're doing that again?
I mean, look, people are going to buy Frank Cho whether you like it or not, so suck it. It's like he's gonna do cheeky stuff. He's gonna do risque stuff. He's going back to an era when comics were fun and you could have some fun with stuff. And he's such a good artist. No matter what you think of him personally, he's such a good artist that his stuff is gonna sell. And there's people that like that sense of fun that he brings to it. So the comic news sites, they're just a bunch of losers that nobody reads their shit. So they got to do something to drum up controversy to try to get some clicks. Just ignore them.
Well, that has a lot to do with Google. I'm sure Neon and Jim can say better than me, having actual websites with comic book content or geek culture content. But Google just screwed everybody. You can't find anything anymore, and they summarize all of your articles for you.
Yeah, Google has basically destroyed the internet at this point. I mean, this is something I talk about. I mean, we've been running websites for like 20 years, different kinds of websites. Some of them we talk about, some of them we don't talk about. But they have decided they're going to be like AOL, and they want to create a walled garden. And you basically go to Google and you get all of your information from Google and Gemini, and you don't leave that ecosystem, which is great, except it just chokes off all the sources of their AI stuff that they're giving you. Most of the AI snippets are wrong. They're wrong. I mean, basic questions, like it's getting wrong. But yeah, I think a lot of it is we have these publishers that are clinging, to, whatever the Google traffic they think is going to, get them something. So that this is why you see these like word salad headlines, because these three things are trending. So we're going to make a headline. We're going to cobble together an article about these three things, even though it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, even though the writer doesn't even take that position just to get traffic. But they're still not realizing that traffic is never going to go to you. It's going to go to the AI summary, most of it. And it's just, it's just desperation at this point. And like, look, I get it, man. I mean, like I said, we had websites for years and we've watched everything. Creator, I was just talking to a guy the other day, is like, yeah, my website 5 years ago was worth tens of millions of dollars. Now it's worth like a couple $1,000. That's it. And this is, I'm not going to say who it is, but it's a bigger pop culture site. And it's just the whole thing is his creator. So yeah, I think a lot of it is just desperation, trying to cling to that business model of ad revenue, which doesn't work anymore. I think the only thing that's going to work going forward is subscriptions, direct support. You're going to have to find people that are actually willing to support you financially, willing to pay for your stuff, just like they did back in the day when you bought a magazine or bought a newspaper, whatever. And some people just aren't going to make the cut. They're not, it's going to shake out, and that's kind of Darwinism. That's kind of how it works, right?
So Jim, I know you do reviews and everything. If you go look at Comic Book Roundup, you go back to like Reborn, which is a Mark Miller, Greg Capullo book. No, issue number 1 has 30 something reviews.
Yeah.
Right now, Batman doesn't get 8 reviews.
No. Yeah, no, we've been talking about that for a while, and the idea, there's reasons why they don't do reviews. One of them is if people don't go to read them, they stop reviewing them. And I think that the interest in comics is down so much that, but also it's the whole thing. You can get into the idea that most of these reviewers just give 10 out of 10s anyway, so they ended up kind of messing it up themselves. But they also try to do that like false positive that if they don't like the books, they don't review it as well, so that even takes more people out. And nobody's reviewing anything anymore. It's kind of sad.
And DC, if you don't give them positive reviews, will no longer give you review copies.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, DC swiped ours away. The guy kind of alluded to the idea that we had to have a certain score, at least average out after each week. And I said that we wouldn't do that. And they took the copies away, which is fine. They don't have to give us the copies, but it's kind of a bullshit move. So,
pay to play.
Yeah. So I don't get involved in that. And Gabe does our reviews anyway, so they're all bullshit.
So I saw the post that said Absolute Batman will be the big influence the next generation of Batman writers. Is Batman doomed? Kind of like the Dark Knight Returns. Neon, yay.
Yay, Neon.
Yay. That's every morning I get up, I'm like, yeah, I'm still here.
Yay.
Yay.
Now Neon lies in bed and he just goes, okay, I gotta get up, I gotta do this. Honey, can you give me a woohoo just to get me going?
Woohoo! That's how I go to sleep at night. That's
What do you think, Dylan? Is Absolute Batman that hot that it's going to be like the next Watchmen or Dark Knight Returns or Civil War, where it influences like the next generation of writers in perpetuity?
I don't know. Didn't was it the other day Scott Snyder said it's like going back for its like 10th reprint or something like that. So it's the biggest comic we've had in a while. But I don't know. I don't know if it'll be that big to where everyone will be influenced by it. I hope not. I like Absolute Batman, but I don't think we need to see a whole lot of Absolute Batman clones. I don't think
it was the third best Batman book.
That. Yeah.
You think we're going to have a next generation of comic book writers working at DC? No. You think there'll be a DC? Because I don't.
No, maybe not. So I hope not. Absolute Batman's fine, but I don't think the rule of thumb should be just make it so big and insane that it's big and insane. Like, okay.
I think
there's only so much shelf life for that.
I think the dangerous precedent we're setting here with all of these Elseworlds doing so well is that we're ever going to focus all the attention back on the main line and fix the mainline books. Like, oh, hey, we screwed up Spider-Man. Let's do Ultimate Spider-Man. If that doesn't work, we'll just cancel it and do another variation of Spider-Man until we find what works. I'm like, or you could just go back to Spider-Man and
it's weird too with Ultimate Spider-Man. They almost go with the idea if it does work, then we'll cancel it because it makes the mainline look bad.
Yeah.
It's so odd.
Just make the mainline good. Then it's a real simple solution.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing though, because like with DC, the mainline is good. Just everyone's reading Absolute. Like that's not a problem with DC. Like Batman Robin's amazing. Like, but that book's ending and everyone's reading Absolute Batman.
But Batman's not great. Matt Fraction's not killing it on Batman. So, and it's funny to me the Batman title is running concurrent with the canceled Batman title. It isn't finished yet because Jim Lee can't keep a schedule.
Yeah. Helm says, Neon, there's that D&D show, The Mighty Nine. I recommend. It's dark, especially for cat lovers, but it has guest voice stars with Disney princesses.
Well, that is a lot in one sentence. Let me
kind of strange.
There's a D&D show. No offense to you. The Mighty Nine. I recommend. It's dark. Okay. Especially for cat lovers. Okay. But has guest voice stars with 3 Disney princesses. Okay. That I might have to check.
Feels like it hits all your buttons there, dude.
Yeah. So I've heard of it. I've never seen it. So I don't think my wife can watch it because I'm thinking cats die. Lots of cats die.
I've heard good things about it.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Are you a D&Der from back in the day?
Me? Oh hell yeah! That's like all I did when I was a kid. D&D and arcades. That was my thing. Comic books, comic shops. All my nerd friends. Every Sunday we played D&D. And
we're thinking about getting like an online D&D game together. We'll see if it happens.
All right, I had all the books, man. I had everything. I was a dungeon master, so dungeon master.
Of course you
stuck by. Yeah. They get stuck behind all the books, right? So I had like everything. I'm looking now. I'm like, my God, some of the campaign sets I had were still sealed because we never got around to playing them. And I'm like, some of that shit's going for $1,000, $2,000. I'm like, damn it. I wish I still had everything.
Jagrin, too, probably wishes he still had this. He says he owned the flag and had it for 3 years.
So it exists.
Damn. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know,
Sparrow's got 3 of them, so it had.
Yeah, as an adult, I had an adult.
Yeah, I never saw one. Well, I don't even think I ever saw one in the store. Come to think of it, because I think it took up so much space. I never saw Fortress Maximus either in the store. I just think he took up too much space. But yeah, nobody. And I think that's it. I wonder, even the rich kids, like their parents could afford it, but they were like, "Where the hell are you gonna put
We're
that?"
gonna put it in the pool.
One of my best friends had a Mega Supreme, and it was fun for like 10 minutes. There's only so much you can do with the Mega Supreme.
He just goes in a circle, and it's like you can turn him into the robot, and then you're like, cool. I mean, I have the Omega Supreme, the Titans Return one that they made, and that one's a lot of fun. But
yeah, then you're a kid, you're disappointed. You're like, okay, so this guy's like, he's big and he's expensive, and what's his personality? Oh, he literally has no personality.
He
doesn't, like on the show.
For a hand. Okay.
Yeah.
Even in the comic, he wasn't particularly interesting.
No, he's not. He's just a big robot. That's it.
He's no Trypticon. He's no Devastator.
MH Comics Invictus H13 Rite of Passage had to sell all my Joes, Star Wars, He-Man, and Transformers at a garage sale while working a double at the brewery.
God bless you. Exactly.
I think a lot of people would, like Dylan's age, would think that he was lying, but from what I experienced, that might be true. Because when I was about that age, I was working at my mom's restaurant, and I was getting paid in smokes.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, no, that's a real story. Yeah.
Wait. Okay, okay.
She didn't want to pay me minimum wage, so I got a carton of smokes a month to go with my pay. To save money. It's the 80s and 90s. It's weird.
I know everybody smoked. That's the thing they get wrong about all this retro stuff too. It's like everybody
smoked.
Kids were smoking, dogs were smoking, babies were smoking, everybody was smoking.
Well, the best thing about Monster Squad is when the guy comes up with a banana seat and he's supposed to be like the tough guy, and he's like sparking his match off of his boot heel while he's like riding a girl bike. I was like, I'd buy it.
Yeah, no, Gen X, we were 30 when we were 13. It's like we were feral kids. Yeah. We had no parental supervision. You'd get thrown out of the house. Like if you were out of school, you'd get thrown out of the house in the morning, told not to come back till the streetlights came on. And you were smoking and stealing liquor out of your friend's parents' liquor cabinet.
Well, I remember the high school. I right across the street. They had Smoker's Corner, and it was like all kids go take a drag before they went to class. And now I'm thinking about it now, like I can't imagine seeing anything like that. But just driving by as an adult, and I remember driving by the high school as an adult, and I'm like, these kids are like 12, 14 years old, and they're sitting here smoking right across from the high school. It's crazy. And sometimes the teachers go over and join them. I had I'm not even kidding. And
the shop teacher,
my Mr. Walsh, my drafting teacher, would bum smokes off us.
So it was my graphics teacher. He had a wild turkey in the car, and he had guns, all kinds of shit. He was crazy. He was like really big into Hunter S. Thompson, and he had the Gonzo journalism hat, the whole thing going on. But he was drunk most of the time. And I'm pretty sure he was sneaking joints to some of the kids in our class. He was a cool guy.
My grandma was an enormous garage sailor, and the best thing in the world was making it to somebody's house where they were being forced to sell all their cool shit. Like, I'm getting this for pennies on the dollar. Let's buy it all.
That's how I got Thrasher in the Thunder Machine.
Exactly. Kalichi Oki, Aaron, how are you the one getting all the surgeries when Jim is the one almost meeting his end almost every day?
One surgery.
My advice to you, Aaron, ignore it. That is my advice. Ignore it. It doesn't go away, but you can pretend it does.
Jim's not on camera, but he's essentially Frankencastle at this point. He's just like stitched together. And
maybe somebody did like a voodoo doll in Jim, and they finally like, you know what? He's just going to keep falling apart and not dying. Let's get rid of the voodoo doll.
They got bored.
Yeah.
That you say somebody that would be my wife.
Maybe.
I think it is. She seems to like at times when I would get hurt, she'll set like almost like she has ESP, where she'll call him like, "Hey, did you fall down the stairs yet?" I'm like, "What? I did yesterday." Well, how do you know? And she's like, I don't know.
You dead? You dead yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Call me when you die.
So it's crazy. We just got gas heat, and now that's what I'm worried about. I'm just gonna die.
Gonna blow up or die of gas.
Die of asphyxiation. Yeah, I'll be dead.
Gallup says if James Gunn did a Batman movie, it'll be that George Clooney movie, but on steroids with his dumb Scooby-Doo humor, and it won't be about Batman.
I mean, fair.
Maybe.
Clooney's too old. Go young. Like
No, he's
No,
talking
see-
about how shitty the Clooney movie was and like the tone of it.
No
That
wonder,
was so goofy and
Sully,
over the top.
where is your reading comprehension? No wonder you
Yeah.
recommend the worst comics every week.
No, I was reading. I was reading that like, you want to do like a continuation of the Flash movie where we see George Clooney
that
as
makes
the
sense.
Batman, like at the stinger at the end. Like,
That guy was right, Sully. You are annoying.
Oh my gosh! Thank you, Jim.
No, come on. Once Netflix gets it, it's all back to the Snyderverse, baby. You saw it online. It was online. It must be
Maybe.
true.
We're like this is like the Friends sitcom, and I'm Phoebe. All right.
Can you sing? Oh, wait, no, Jim does the
Smelly
music.
cat,
What are you talking
smelly
about?
cat.
That's right, yeah.
So Dylan, I saw Batman and Robin. I think I was 16 years old, maybe, or 15. So I was probably too old to be able to appreciate it. You probably saw it when you were 8 or 9. Did you at least like it when you were a little kid?
I didn't like Batman and Robin when I was a kid. No, that was
Okay.
not.
It doesn't
was
matter.
not-
It just always sucked.
Bat nips. It's not the move.
It's the only
My
movie I've ever stood up in and yelled, "Oh, F you, movie," at the screen and walked out.
I almost walked out. My daughter loves it though. We're watching, and she's Gen Z, but she loves it. She said it's so stupid, but she's like, it's stupid fun. She's like, I love it because it's dumb fun. She watched all the other Batman movies. She checked out of the Michael Keaton movie. She's like, yeah, these are boring. I think she got about halfway through the Nolans. She's like, these are boring, but my God, she loves Batman and Robin.
My 4-year-old keeps making me watch those damn Jurassic World movies. Fallen Kingdom.
So
That
bad.
was-
So
The last
bad.
one wasn't. I didn't think the last one was terrible. Last one was better.
Rebirth?
I mean, it was.
Rebirth was fine.
Yeah, it was okay, but yeah, Fallen Kingdom was not good.
But you go back and you watch the first Jurassic Park, and it's like, oh, these used to be about characters, and they used to be about ideas and philosophical questions and ethical dilemmas. Oh, that's charming.
Now it's Fast and the Furious, but you replace the cars with dinosaurs.
Let's just do that.
Oh.
Universal owns both. You can just
Yeah,
do
that'd be
that.
awesome.
You can just do dinosaurs in cars or dinosaurs versus cars, Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
These
Live
veloc-
action. There you go.
These velociraptors are family.
Family.
Gal says, I can predict the Jimmy Olsen show with token gay black woman. A neck beard like the one Peacemaker and Gunn's wife will probably do it with Grodd.
Don't give them any
Would you want
ideas.
Gorilla Grodd as a neck beard? Like
Well,
on the
you
internet?
had in the Supergirl show, Jimmy Olsen was a 6'4" black guy. So
Mhm.
I didn't watch the Supergirl show.
I think I watched like one episode. It was
Was
really
it
bad.
good?
No.
With Melissa Benoist, she's beautiful. She played a really good Kara Zor-El. She was perfect.
Sully
for that
did
role.
like it. That
It was-
checks, doesn't it?
I like the Flash show. I didn't watch Arrow, but I
The
watched
Flash
the first
show was good for
4
3
seasons
seasons.
of.
Yes.
Yeah, the first 4. I checked out at Savitar because I thought that was
Yes.
such a cop out about being like a time.
I was
fragment.
tired of the same exact villain over and over.
And so I missed I missed losing Ralph, and Ralph was like becoming my favorite part of the show, and he got canceled in real life by his own castmate and kicked off the show. And it's like, oh, we never got to Ralph and Sue,
Who
did
the
we?
fuck is Ralph?
Hey, I'm elongated, man. Ralph did me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The elongated man. That's
I
how he
don't
got his
remember the
name. I love
elongated man
that.
being in there, but Superman and Lois is the one to watch. That's the best show they did. JT Thompson, 520. In 1986, right before The Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen first showed up, everyone was saying comics were done and the end was nigh. The more things change, the more things stay the same.
I see. I was reading comics, and I don't remember those discussions in the shop. Everybody was like pretty psyched.
Secret Wars, man. Secret Wars was huge.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that
DC
wasn't-
would have been in a bad place because they hadn't caught up to
Racist.
what Marvel had done, which was revolutionary.
Mhm.
But
I'm
they're
not-
about to.
I'm not saying you're wrong necessarily, but those discussions were not going on amongst like my friends group or in the shops at the
Mhm.
time that we were, in the shops that I was going to.
I think, yeah, because I remember being a time of a lot of change. You know, there was a lot. I mean, you think about like what happened in the mid '80s in comics, and there was like massive change. And but you could still buy comics at the 7-Eleven, right? You could still find, normal people were still picking up comics. They were advertising comic book issues on television, for God's sake. Like it was still had some, I guess, relevancy to pop culture. The comic books themselves, I'm not talking about the characters. I think the difference now is the characters are relevant, but the comic books themselves might not be as relevant. But I don't think comics are ever going to disappear. What we talk about mostly is the medium changing, whether that's to graphic novels or manga or web comics, digital comics. The delivery system is changing, but the whole monthly, pamphlets, you go to the shop to buy whatever, that is absolutely positively winding down. It is.
Yeah, and anytime you had a cartoon in the 80s that you wanted to promote, you had to do a comic book.
Yeah, they always did. And that was baffling to kids, where like G.I. Joe and Transformers were really, really different, right? They'd advertise G.I. Joe and Transformers comics during the G.I. Joe and Transformers cartoon shows, right next to the toy commercials. Then you'd read the comics and it was like, this is really different than the TV show. I don't understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm. JT Thompson says, your boy Zach is going to rage for weeks over this.
Yeah, good. Stay mad. He seems like he's going after everybody who was smart enough not to get vaxxed. So
I'll let him. I'm kind of checking out of like.
He's free to do whatever he wants. I mean, I made a video about it.
I got an opinion, kind of like, not really, but it's more like, okay, if you're gonna drink too much and you find yourself an alcoholic, well, what are you gonna blame? Drinking too much. If you're gonna eat shitty food and become a fat body, what are you gonna blame? Eating too much shitty food. If you're gonna like really like have these like awful outrage shows and that's all you watch, what are you gonna become? Seriously. So I'm kind of stepping back from all of these outrage shows, and like I'm just sick of the whole fight. I'm here to enjoy myself, have joy, and have fun, and hang out with friends. So this is great. This is the best way to spend a Saturday.
Yeah, no, I love this, and it's funny because it's like everybody in the space that these old middle-aged sad sacks, blah blah blah. I'm like, who are you talking about? You talking about Drinker? Drinker's not middle-aged. He's also very happy. He's like a very happy guy. Gary's
the biggest sad sack in the aficionados.
Gary's middle-aged. Nerdrotic's middle-aged, but he's like one of the happiest guys I know, and a really generous guy, a really nice guy. He does like a lot of nice things for a lot of nice people that people don't talk about. Wes, you're a sunny delight, man.
I am Sunny D, no doubt.
I get to hang out with you on Saturday, and I get to hang out with you on Wednesday and just shoot the shit. It's we're all having a good time, so it's like it's like the meme. It's like
I'm miserable.
Fuck all this. Absolutely.
But you know what, Jim? You bring joy to us.
I make you that much more joyful in comparison, I think. So
I feel like if you tell Jim that, you're like, oh no, but you make us happy, and Jim's like, ooh, I'm a magic man.
Look at me,
Lollipop Lane. Ooh,
I'm spreading my fairy dust everywhere. Yeah.
Gallup says Neon, the three princesses in Mighty Nine. Moana, she's a tamer of a demonic toad. Mulan, an elf, and Tiana, she plays this Jessica Rabbit character.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check this out. I'm gonna have to check it out. Just can't.
Why not have Jessica Rabbit play the Jessica Rabbit character?
Because Kathleen Kennedy doesn't sound, or Kathleen Turner doesn't sound like Kathleen Turner anymore.
Right.
Remember when she was Chandler's like transgender dad or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now they had to apologize.
They could never do that again.
No. Well, they could, but you couldn't make jokes about it. Everybody would have to be
Well,
you're so brave. Yeah.
She grew up in the 40s, 50s, so she's probably smoking in kindergarten.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I made a comment once that a casino smelled like the back of Kathleen Turner's throat.
It's awful. Jagger 2. So by the time the deal is done, Hush 2 final issue is out.
Probably not.
In April or May, maybe August. I'm not sure.
Here's the question: Does Kevin Smith's Daredevil Bullseye book finish before Hush?
Maybe.
Or after Batman and Robin.
Warren Ellis will get uncanceled and finally finish New Universal for Marvel. Oh man. I love you, Warren.
It's only part 1 of Hush 2. So there's a part 2 that's another 6 issues. I think that'll take us another 5 years. Maybe.
I hear rumors that that's not ever going to happen because they're never.
No, it's never going to happen.
Done. Yeah, that's just done.
Well, do you think that Jim's excited about this deal because Netflix, produces so much stuff that there'll be a lot of red carpets that he can go to?
No, he's going to get fired.
No, he's
excited about that.
Yeah, he's getting
fired.
Done.
He's getting canned. Kalichi Oki should state that Warner Brothers Netflix deal isn't finalized. Government regulation is still pending approval. which is a massive hurdle. A lot higher ups think it's not getting past that. They
I hope
always
not.
say that these things always get passed because somebody gets their palms greased or somebody does somebody a favor and then they push it through.
I hope that it doesn't get approved, but it will.
I it feels like there's less conflict of interest with Netflix buying Warner Brothers than there would be with Paramount and Skydance buying Warner Brothers, right? Because they were going to buy everything, the TV and everything, and they already have news stations and all that. So that's a huge issue. It actually feels like to me like they're just buying the content library, and that should not be an issue unless Trump wants to make it an issue, which he's been complaining about that. So I have no idea.
But it is not done, and they do have to wait for the two companies to split off into two parts in the latter part of next year. But I fully expect that it actually happens.
Yeah.
But it will not be a fast process, no doubt about it. XR Coon 5250, what would everyone's top 3 runs in all of comics have to be on a deserted island? I would probably want my Robert Medici X-O Man of War. I would want Alan Moore's Saga of the Swamp Thing. And then I would go with Stated Jack's Fantastic Four.
So does it have to be like one creator's run, or is it just like a run of comics? Because that's way easier for me.
Whatever's easiest for you.
Okay, I would want my
do.
X-Men books up through Claremont's run. I would want my Amazing Spider-Man books up through probably 400. And come back to me for number 3. I'm thinking.
Since I'm on a deserted island, I definitely want my Milo Manara books filled with nudity and erotica, because it's a desert island, and you're asking.
Okay, what are the other 2 books there, Sully? You jump in here. You ain't got more.
My Marvel Star Wars from I will take that entire run of 107 issues plus 3 annuals. I would love to have that on a deserted island. Those would be fun. I could look at the Twinkies ads and go hungry, and probably my Batman comics from the mid 80s to the late 80s. I was a Batman crazy in middle school up to about 89, 90. It was just when the movie came out, that was peak Batman for me. From Dark Knight Returns all the way up to the end of Tech 600.
Very nice, Sully. Jim, what 3 runs are you doing on a?
Probably let's think. Leah Williams, Power Girl.
Yeah.
Mariko Tamaki's Detective Comics, and Teenie Howard's Catwoman.
Because then you get the Gotham War.
No, because then I want to do everything I can to get the hell off that island, so I can go get some real comics. So I need some incentive.
It'll start fires.
I'm not just going to sit there and read comics. I want to get off the island. So I picked those.
You need motivation.
Yes.
I got you.
Maybe even throw in Leah Williams Oliver comics, because I would like that Gotham City Sirens nonsense too. That'd be great.
Her Amazing Mary Jane is not hideous.
Oh, you go to that was pretty bad.
See, I'm dumb. My third choice is really easy, which is G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero.
Yep.
Beautiful. Where are you going, Keneon? What 3 books are you taking on the island?
Carl Barks, absolutely. You can read Carl Barks forever, and by extension, Don Rosa. I think I would go with I like European comics, so maybe Corto Maltese, Tintin, something like that. And as far as Western comics goes, I would say Peter David's X Factor run I had a lot of fun with. I actually used to read that. I went back to that more times than went back to the Chris Claremont, Jim Lee X-Men back in the day. It was funny. It was fresh. The art was great. I mean, it was very different. Larry Sturman was very different, but it was a very unique experience for the time in the early 90s. And it was very enjoyable. Yeah.
Very nice. All right, Dylan, what 3 runs are you taking?
I'd go with Dan Jurgens Superman, because then you get some Triangle era, and then you also get Rebirth Action Comics. You get some good stuff there. I'd also go with Larry Hama's G.I. Joe. Gets Real American Hero. Get a lot great stuff there. And then I'd go with Palmiotti and Gray's Jonah Hex.
Wow, I was definitely expecting Jeff Johns Superman.
Nice. I hear.
I would. The problem is it's short. That's the problem.
That's
because
true.
I'm thinking about being on the island for a while, so that's why I chose Dan Jurgens. There's more
Triangle
there.
Era is getting a collection on DC Finest next year. I'm looking forward to that.
I've
'cause
got
I'm like,
the first 2 omnibus, which are out right now, so they're gonna be. They're
Oh.
slowly putting those out. But yeah, I got the.
yeah, those look
those two.
great. They got a bunch of good stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Very nice. Let's talk a little bit more about this Netflix acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery, which obviously comes with it DC Comics as well as DC Studios, which is going to be the thing that affects our stuff here. Now, Jim, I know that you have a comic book empire. You got review sites, you got YouTube, you got all these different things going on. This is definitely the worst case scenario for DC Comics in the future. I don't see how Netflix is going to be like, yes, we want to continue publishing physical media, considering we're a digital entertainment company.
Yeah. I read all digital anyway, but it's going to change things up, and it's tough. Though I'm hoping that they get a new PR guy and I'll be able to get some free copies. That's what I want, but I'm very selfish. But no, I'm kind of worried about the whole deal. I don't think there's going to be people who will just jump in just because of this happening. Like, oh my God, like it's going to be a groundswell of, I got to check this out or whatnot. But I do think a lot of people might get pissed off and leave. And there's not a lot of people left reading or being excited about comics, which is the problem. And that's why you end up, writing dirty songs, is because the comic stuff is no longer paying the bills. But I hope everything goes well. I hope that they come in and when they clean house, they know what they're doing and actually get some people that can tell some stories and things like that overall. But maybe it'll be something good, because they'll have to really look at the books and say, listen, we can't just keep this nonsense going on just because, and maybe that'll help. But overall, I kind of go with the flow. I haven't really thought too much about it. But that's about all I have to say. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I'm just not stoked about Netflix taking over, especially because I go see a lot of movies, and the fact that they're like, the movie window's too long right now. It's already been shortened, and Netflix shortening it to be 2 weeks maybe max of movies being on the big screen annoys me, and a lot of Netflix original movies really suck. So that part does not give me jazzed, as well as whatever they're going to do with the comics. But I think firing a bunch of people probably isn't really a big deal, because there's a lot of people that don't deserve to be employed that are currently working in comics.
Yeah, hopefully they fire the people that should be fired. That's the main thing, not keep weird people around or whatnot just because. But yeah, Dylan's right. I mean, there are a lot of people that need to be fired. And I think that there's a lot of things say at Marvel with the editorial and things that people are just too comfortable in these positions they've been in for so long and think that nothing could ever happen. Well, DC has some problems like that too. I think that's a problem overall, that people just think they're safe and everything's kind of boring right now.
Yeah, it's look, they're not in the business. Netflix is not in the business of printing paper magazines, right? I mean, let's be real here. And I think Jimmy Palmiotti put a tweet out there yesterday, and he's trying to be like, hey, I'm not trying to be alarmist, but this is not going to be good. And I have to agree with him on that. It's not going to be good for a lot of people. Now, do I think it's going to be good for the longevity of the characters? I mean, Warner Brothers was owned by AOL before. It wasn't the end of the world. It was tech company owning them is not anything new. I just don't think Netflix is going to keep the print side of things around much longer. I think they'll outsource everything. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that makes sense. But I think it's going to take a couple of years, right? But I think a lot of people, I'm going to tell you right now, if this deal goes through and you are working for the big two, the gun has been fired. It's time to start looking for, actually, it was time to start looking for a backup career 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And a lot of people just haven't gotten that memo yet. And it's look, in comic books, you don't retire with a watch, right? You don't get a freaking Superman, Batman watch. A lot of comic creators, unless you're super huge, wind up destitute. And you hear these stories. I mean, I was talking about, Peter David. God,
Peter David. Yeah.
I mean, he is one of the most prolific writers in comics, and he wound up broke ass at the end of his life. Horrible. I mean, if he can go broke, right? And he was always working,
always writing, dude.
Yeah,
had some big runs at a time when you figure he should have been able to bank some money.
I knew him from Star Trek books, and he wrote a ton of Star Trek books on. Those were great.
And I mean, you look at, we had a situation with Bill Messner-Loebs. I know that keeps coming up, and I feel bad for a lot of these careers. I really do, because sometimes they get a good 5-6 years, and then it just kind of their career declines or whatever. But that is the nature of the entertainment industry. It doesn't matter what part of the entertainment industry you're in. It doesn't matter what part of media you're in. You have your ups and your downs, and you have to kind of bank your money when you make it. But I just think a lot, like you said, a lot of these people are comfortable. They think that this is going to last forever. There's always going to be 50 DC comics every month. We're always going to keep paying for books that only sell 10,000 copies.
Mm-hmm.
And Netflix is going to pay a lot of attention to that. And they're going to be like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. We'll still make comic books. We're just not going to make as many. We're going to outsource it. We're going to do something else. They don't have any attachment to DC Comics, the company. They're just like, oh, Batman IP is popular.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I don't even think they care about it. Like comics themselves. They're like, oh, you got the comics. They're like, yeah, we kind of just want comics Batman, Superman. That's what they want. They don't care about the comics.
Yeah,
I disagree with you in the chat, Sully. I don't think Jim Lee stays.
Oh,
no,
we have.
I don't think he's gonna stay.
I think he gets some weird position that's like a bullshit advisor type thing.
Look, get ready for Lauren Hissrich's Batman. Get ready for Adi Shankar's Superman. Get ready for all of your mythos to be destroyed by the people that Netflix hands these things to.
Ravi Shankar.
Ravi Shankar.
No, Adi Shankar. Oh. The guy that ruined Devil May Cry. This is just like the way that it goes. These are just commodities to Netflix. It's like they don't have any invested interest in the comics. They don't have any invested interest in the characters. It's just this is an IP that we can exploit. So you're gonna have your Batman. You might get a Batman show on Netflix. It's probably gonna be Jace Fox. Well, or it's gonna be whatever the John Kent Superman. You're gonna get all that.
The next generation, they'll probably do something like a Generation 2 thing. Sure, but going back to my point, though, I mean, I just think that Jim's irreplaceable. He's got that smile. He is an American success story. I mean, he's a talent. I mean, is he a lot?
Who's the face of Netflix to you?
Oh, geez, Cuties, and that's what
They don't have a face. They don't give a shit about anything.
They're the network that platformed Cuties and defended it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, is this where I get off the boat with DC Comics? Because I don't Netflix and I haven't since 2021. And Cuties is a huge deal. I just like, oh my God, no thanks. And so it's like, I don't watch Netflix. I didn't have to endure Cowboy Bebop or any of that lousy, badly adapted stuff.
You missed out on K-pop Demon Hunters, one of the best films of the last 20 years.
And Stranger
That was Sony. That was Sony, right?
Well, that's true. They did make they acquired it. But
that's why it was a hit, was because it didn't have any of Netflix's bullshit in it. They just acquired it. When you get that sequel, that's when we'll see the Netflix effect on it, and we'll see if it survives it.
Hopefully, they pay Sony to do it for them. What do you think, Adele? Are you excited about this? Do you think it portends better things for DC Comics?
No, I don't. I don't think it's going to be good. I don't really care to read digitally. I much prefer reading comics physically, so this doesn't look good for me. And I was saying earlier,
I don't think that they're just going to go all in on digital comics. I think they might the platform. I think they're going to license the comic books out if they continue it.
Yeah.
They're going to see no value in physical publishing from Netflix.
Yeah, probably
Dark
right.
Horse. They'll send them to Dark Horse. I mean, that's my personal opinion, because all the Netflix comics are on the Dark Horse. Let them.
Well, that's Stranger Things is there too, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and He-Man was there, and Mark Miller's stuff is there, and it just let them handle. They want you just like Hasbro. Hasbro doesn't even want to make toys now. They want to be an IP rights holder, so they're actually outsourcing their toys to other toy companies, which was inconceivable 20, 30 years ago. But Netflix is like, we're too big to bother with this. Dark Horse, you still want to print paper comics? Fine, here you go. You make some Batman comics.
Could not be the worst thing ever, because when they did have, Predator and Alien and Star Wars, they're far better than what Marvel's doing now with the same franchises.
Oh, Dark Horse Star Wars was amazing. God, it was so good.
Really, really good.
Dark Horse Aliens was amazing. Anything pre-Alien 3 is just off the charts. Good horror, sci-fi stuff. It was so macabre. Wow, I loved it.
No pet xenomorphs, right?
No pet exactly. Oh my gosh. And the human horror balanced with the xenomorph threat was just as wow. I get shivers thinking about the black and white ones. Like dude, those things give me nightmares, literally.
Well, I kind of, that early stuff at Dark Horse, part of the reason I kind of gravitated towards, because like I said, I love European comics, and it really had that kind of a feel to it. like European comics. And I mean, Aliens, visually, always took a riff from that. But that whole period of time in the 80s, the fantasy and the science fiction and the kind of the grittiness of it, that it was very different from, Star Trek. It was like, space is awful. Space is evil. It wasn't like, let's be optimistic. Like, no, space will kill you, man. It's like Australia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it should be a very interesting thing going on here. I can tell you the people at DC are not very happy. That's what I've been told behind the scenes. Now, I have heard this one, Neon, that people think because Miller World was acquired by Netflix, and obviously Mark Miller still works at Netflix, that maybe he's going to take over DC Comics.
No comment. I can't comment on that. I don't know what he's going to do. I think he's happy farming, right?
Yeah.
He's on his farm now.
He's going to farm. He's like Jeremy Clarkson, but,
But he's not like the comic book guy for all of Netflix. He's the Miller World guy.
His own stuff. Yeah. So just because, I mean, he would have to want to do it. He'd have to be incentivized to do it. But yeah, I mean, I think he's happy with his own projects. He even said as much. That's what I thought was so weird. I read that article yesterday. Rich Johnson's like, oh, he's going to run DC. And it's like, he's even like, nah, I'm happy doing my own stuff. I mean, he's in a place right now. He doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to do. Right. And I wish we could all be that lucky. And I think that's why people are freaking out so much, because guys like Miller, they made it and they got out, and now they can make comics on their own terms. And most of the people working in comics cannot do that.
There's like only two of them. There's Robert Kirkman and there's Mark Miller. No. And those are like the gold standards. Like the
Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
Who?
Todd McFarlane.
Yes. Oh, well.
He still has to run his toy company, but let's be honest. I mean, most of his money is coming from.
He's doing the comics because he wants to do the comics, not because he has to.
Yeah, I
it's
think
a side hustle.
I think that is kind of, that should be the goal for a comic creator, is being able to do the comics you want to do when you want to do them on your own terms, and still having money roll in, you don't have to go, work at side hustle or whatever. It's like, no, my work I did in my 30s is now paying for me to live in my 60s. If I want to do comics, I do comics. If I don't want to do comics, I don't do comics, whatever, or I hire other people to do it. That is winning, I think, at comics. And there are only a handful of people that have gotten to that point. And I think part of the reason why people don't get to that point is they don't think like business people. They're just like month to month, let's be an artist, let's grind, and down with capitalism or whatever. I'm like, no, these guys, you look at Todd McFarlane and you read his interviews from Wizard Magazine back in the day, he was always business minded. You have to be like, if you want to if you want to retire from comics and win at comics, you have got to be business minded.
Yeah, I think the Mark Miller thing is likely a pipe dream, but Dylan, I do think it's the best case scenario pipe dream.
Probably.
If there's somebody at Netflix that can convince them that, hey, DC publishing is worth continuing on, he might be the only guy.
Yeah, I doubt there's anyone else at Netflix that really cares about DC Comics and keeping the comic books going other than for an IP farm. I doubt there's anyone else. Yeah, best case scenario, if Mark Millar was there taking care of it. I mean, he's already said it before where he believes that, a healthy Marvel and DC is what's best for the comic book industry. So
he would be like a new Julie Schwartz, you know what I mean? Or just like someone with that dynamic vision to pull it all together. Someone that cares about all of these characters as much as we do.
Just don't let him touch Clark Kent, because I hate his take on Superman and Clark Kent. That was
got it
not
inverted a little bit to me.
Yeah, I love Mark Miller. I think he writes some great comics, but that not it.
I would love to be in the room and just see Mark Waid's face the day that it's announced that Mark Miller is in charge of DC.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, he hates Mark so much.
Oh man! Speaking of, did Mark Miller ever make up with Grant Morrison, or are they still bitter enemies?
I have no
idea. I don't know.
Does anyone know?
I think that Mark is such a happy kind of gregarious guy. I don't think he even thinks of it. I don't think it even if they haven't made up, I don't think he worries about it at all. I don't think it even enters his mind.
No, he's plenty busy. He's got all those projects that he's announced. He's going to be working very hard on all of his movies, I guess. And
when you're worried, only losers worry about what somebody else is doing. People that are very motivated and people that are successful are focused on their own stuff. And, genuinely, they're happy for other people when they succeed because they're succeeding. So what do they, it doesn't take anything away from them, and it doesn't, So yeah, you got if you're waking up every day and your first thought is what are other people doing, you need to recalibrate your priorities.
Jim, are you going to let him talk about you like that? Because I know you wake up, you're like, that Wes Burnham will be doing good
every day. It's like a black hole that won't be filled with my hate for people. I love when people fail.
Conway Finney is doing better than me in the dirty song.
It is legit, like playing sports and things. Like it was the idea of I'd rather watch somebody lose than actually have the joy of me winning. that was always the case. That's what drove me. So I'm an awful person, though. I had never said I wasn't. I am driven by that. But yeah,
Jim is Dr. Doom. He's like, it's all Richard's fault. Richards, and he's unable to enjoy anything.
But you're onto something there, Aaron. It's not the dirty song game. Is like people tearing each other apart, right, Jim?
Oh yeah,
get to the top of the dirty song. Like
it's a dog eat dog world out there in the dirty song game. A lot of pilfering and stuff like that. But yeah,
stealing your lyrics.
Oh, listen,
that was my track, yo.
Oh yeah. Listen, you can't use ass to mouth. I did that, but you end up where when this is all going down, though. I do try to pretend that I'm very, magnanimous, but no, I'm pretty bad. I'm pretty much an asshole.
So the bigger thing involved with this, obviously even bigger certainly to Netflix, the DC Comics is going to be the DC Studios. And we do have James Gunn and his big 10-year plan with Peter Safran. We've got Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, Superman. We will have had Supergirl, Clayface, the Batman 2, Lanterns at least by the time this thing all goes through. Leon, as the big pop culture guy, what do you think about this one? Is James Gunn in a tenuous position now?
I think he's probably safer at Netflix than he would be at Paramount, because I think he'd be butting heads at Paramount, just given the politics, I think, of the people at Paramount. I don't know. I mean, we covered the whole, rumor of the Snyderverse coming back. I don't see it happening, but who the hell?
Netflix has canceled like 3 of his projects.
Well, if he's got, so I have heard that. I've heard that there's some bad, was there some bad blood there with Snyder and Netflix, I think.
I think it's just the bottom
it appears
line.
that way. They just keep canceling all of his shit. There's no more Rebel Moon.
I think
how much you spend on that?
Yeah, I think they gave him like carte blanche with Rebel Moon, and then it was terrible and didn't do well for Netflix. So after that, they're like, all right, we're gonna chill with you for now.
Well, his shitty zombie movie didn't do well before that. So it's like strike 1, strike 2, Rebel Moon Part 2, strike 3. It's
what about the Rebel Moon Snyder cut?
That was
Is it a foul ball?
So did anybody watch that? Did anybody watch the Snyder cut of that? Because I suffered
I didn't
through
watch any of that.
Fatal J 100% watched that. Remember, he used to be like the biggest Snyder bro ever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But now he's like super. Like
he's a gun guy.
He's come over to red trunks on a Superman outfit, and I'm so proud of him because he was firmly no red trunks because of the Snyder bro angle. And I'm like, no, red trunks. It's iconic. Now he's with us.
He can be taught.
I think theatrical is going to play into it. I think a lot of people in Hollywood are nervous because Netflix says, "Hey, we're still going to honor the agreements. We're going to release stuff theatrically. It's important to put movies in theaters." I don't believe they're going to feel that way once the ink is dry. Right. I think they're going to be like, "Yeah, we'll put the movie in the theater for like a week, but then you're going to have to subscribe to Netflix, or we'll have it on Netflix first, so you subscribe to Netflix. We'll drop it in the theater as a special event, like K-pop Demon Hunters or something. Make a little extra money over there, but really, we want you to subscribe to Netflix." So then you have to ask yourself, is a guy like James Gunn going to be happy being a dude producing Netflix movies?
We get David Fincher to do it. He's been doing all Netflix movies. None of his shit goes to theaters.
He's not happy about it. He's not happy about it not being in theaters, though. What about the Duffer Brothers? They just left
for Paramount,
Netflix, right? Yeah. For Paramount, they went to Paramount. Wouldn't it have been funny if they'd gone to WB? We're gonna have our stuff in theaters.
Oh, that happened with Alex Hirsch. He was like cursing Disney out on the way out. He left. He's a creator of Gravity Falls, and he was butting heads all the time with Disney over censorship and whatever. And so he bailed on Disney and he went to Fox.
Whoops!
Plot twist. Yep.
What about all the people that left, or all the people that disparaged John Lasseter and were like jumped over to
Yeah, that's this is the thing about Hollywood, and I think any entertainment industry is like, I just tell people, you don't shit where you eat. And the problem is a very small town. This is how people get blacklisted or whatever, just disappear, is you never know who your boss is going to be next, right? And so you got to try to get along with everybody the best of your ability. And same with comics. I think even more so in comics, because it's a very, very, very small industry. So you got to try to get along with people as best as you can, because the person you're taking a shit on now on a message board might be your boss in 5 years. You have no idea.
Well, this is a hell of a thing for you to tell me now, Neon.
I know, right? If only I knew.
As if I've ever cared about working for any of these
Well,
companies.
that's it. You have to care, and some people literally do not care. But I think you got to make that choice early on. Like, do I want to play by the system's rules? Do I want to work within the system, or do I want to be an outsider and just kind of do my own thing? If you just want to do your own thing, whether it's movies, whatever, you're fine. Get your own funding, whatever. But if you want to work within that system and you're looking for some other company to bankroll your shit, then you're gonna have to play nice. And that's just the way it works.
And Netflix has different rules for like what's successful, Neon. Like something like Jupiter's Legacy, if that was on HBO Max or was on Disney Plus, would have gotten 2 or 3 seasons after the first one, just on those numbers alone. But at Netflix, it got canceled immediately. There's no way they would go on with an Andor season 2. Like if Lanterns doesn't blow up, you're likely never to see it again. They just cancel stuff.
They know within the first couple of days. Like, I don't know what their metrics are, but that was like Cowboy Bebop. It was within like a couple of days of the first season being released. They're like, yeah, there wasn't enough watch time right out of the gate. It's gone. And then you get something like One Piece where it was like a huge hit. But I think they look at long term, like for what we're spending, are we going to have diminishing returns, right? And or could we take that budget from that show and make 5 other shitty shows, or import stuff from another country that we don't have to produce it. We can just slap it on the service, use AI dubbing or whatever crap they're gonna, what I'm saying, and we're still gonna get bang for the buck. And that is kind of the problem. Is that to Netflix execs, I'm not saying everybody, but it's really, they think like a tech company. It's about engagement and watch time and subscription revenue, and not necessarily about quality. You could, if the worst possible show you can imagine somehow became the biggest,
The Kardashians
hit, then it's gonna be more of that. They're just gonna be like, yeah, we can make this stuff cheap. Why spend a couple $100 million on a Zack Snyder thing when we can spend tens of millions of dollars on a reality thing, or bringing something over from Korea or whatever, slap it on the platform? We're going to get the same amount of watch time for that. And that's how these companies think. Not everybody at the company. There are people that actually like art, but for the most part, it's metrics.
So it's going to be very difficult to execute something on a scale of a 10-year DCU plan that was supposed to include animation, television, movies, and video games out the way that he wanted to, because if you don't hit the metric, you don't get to finish your story.
No, but they can still, if they own Warner Brothers, they can slap Batman on a T-shirt. They can slap them on,
Oh yeah, let's look at all the merchandise.
We're gonna get the money from Fortnite. That's just it. And the merchandise, the DC merchandise, makes more money than the comic books, right?
Orders of magnitude. It does more money than the entire comic book industry.
Yeah.
In America, as far as American comic books. So, are you at least excited about some of the stuff we're getting, all the Netflix and Disney and HBO Max? There's no way they're going to run 2 platforms, right, Dylan?
No.
It's just going to become one, right?
Definitely. Yeah. They already said it. They're like, at first we're going to be doing we'll do exclusive like HBO stuff, and then we're slowly going to move it over to Netflix. Like, they're already saying that. So yeah, there's no way they're going to.
Then they're going to double the price because of all the extra value.
Yeah, it's already so expensive for no ads Netflix. If you want like HD no ads Netflix, it's insane.
It's like $25-$30 a month or something.
It'll be good for us, Wes, because we'll just get it on Blockbuster.
Well, maybe, who knows? But it's pretty wild, the consolidation thing. What's the next big thing, Neon? I think it's Apple buying Disney, right?
I've heard that from a couple of different people. Yeah, that is actually going to be supposedly Bob Iger's final magic trick is selling to Apple. I mean, he was on Apple's board up until a couple of years ago. He was really good friends with Steve Jobs. I honestly, I could totally see that happening. People were like, "Oh, Disney's too big to buy." Well, people with
not for Apple.
Not for Apple. Apple's got, they're probably the most They have the most liquidity, I think, of any American company, even more so than Netflix, I think, because they weren't investing as much in content as Netflix has been. And it's like billions and billions of dollars in cash. They're just
I'm shocked that Netflix could pull this deal off because of how leveraged they are on debt.
Yeah.
They are upside down when it comes to cash and debt, whereas Disney was in a much better place cash-wise when they did the Fox deal. So I'm surprised they were even able to pull this off.
Yeah. It's only money, right?
It's only
just print more. You
paper.
just print more. No, but I've heard the Apple thing. That is the only, honestly, Apple's the only company that could afford Disney. And it's whether or not they would want it.
Well, Meta could.
Yeah.
But
Apple, I think, would be more incentivized to do it because they've got Apple TV Plus, which actually I'm gonna go on record saying is Apple TV Plus. It was kind of a dark horse in all this, but they're putting out some pretty good stuff. They don't do a lot of it, but the stuff they're doing is actually pretty good.
I had like a free trial on it, and there was nothing there other than like Peanuts to watch.
Oh, did you watch Tetris movie?
No.
Oh God, the Tetris movie is so good. It was so good.
I found that HBO Max, I think, is the best one because you get all the HBO and all that kind of stuff and Warner Brothers movies, but you also get the cooking shows, which I personally like.
Well, there you go. But everything's gonna change. It's gonna be basically tech companies are gonna run entertainment, and that's why Hollywood's freaking out because all these Silicon Valley dude bros that they've been attacking for the last several years now. Again, you never know who your boss is gonna be, right? And they're gonna be in charge. And I think that's gonna be the end of the studio system as we know it. I think it's going to be the end of the unions. I think there's a lot of things that are going to happen. And then, of course, they're always worried about AI, but all these companies are using AI. They're going to look at this stuff. And then Netflix is already pushing toward the AI stuff. They're going to take all these characters and be like, you want a Batman show? You want Michael Keaton Batman? But as a series, you can make it yourself. There you go. Just put the prompts in. Well, eventually, I mean, we're talking a decade or two down the road, but I can see that happening. So I think they're all shoring up their IP libraries for the eventuality that consumers will be able to make their own content a la carte.
Like it literally becomes Ready Player One.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right.
You think we've got self-inserts now?
Oh my God. But you're making it just for you, right? So the real money isn't in the shows themselves. The real money is going to be in the IP,
the technology that you're able to interact with, and how much.
Right, and that's how they're gonna get paid. You want to make your own freaking whatever weird ass K-pop Demon Hunter fanfic that's just for you, that's locked to your account. That's fine, but you're gonna pay us to use those characters, and I can
update GoldenEye and make it even better.
There you go.
Possible.
There you go. So that's what it's going to be about, is basically having an IP locker that you own these characters. And so whatever the future holds with AI, it's going to be you own those characters. You get paid every time somebody uses those characters, or they pay you for the right to use those characters, because TV shows, it comes and goes, and it's, but yeah, you want the characters, and that's what they're paying billions and billions of dollars for. So
I hope it blows up in all of their faces.
It might. So it might. I
can't wait to play as Mrs. Garrett in Fortnite.
You take the good, you take the bad.
Squirrels. 2D on roller skates, that'd be cool, right? Yeah.
Dylan, as a lover of cinema, you got the AMC movie pass. You go and see several movies a week. Kind of feels like it's a dark day, right?
This sucks. Yeah, Netflix, where movies go to die. They make hardly any good original movies, and the few good ones they do make, like this from Fincher, The Killer, no one sees them. I saw it twice in theaters, and it was in theaters for 2 weeks, and then it went to streaming.
Qualify for an Academy Award.
Yeah, and no one watches Netflix original movies. It's sad. They did Train Dreams. I saw that a couple weeks ago. That's really good, but it's gonna die because it's not it's different having it on a streamer, to where if it's not in your algorithm or it's not currently trending, then you don't watch it. It's different than having it on your shelf or something, it's different, and they don't stick around. It's if I see annoying.
the red in on a movie, I know that's one I don't want to watch.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I mean, Scorsese.
And that's the thing. Most of those movies aren't good.
Scorsese did the Irishman, and that was Netflix only. That did not get a feature release, but that was literally lockdown era, and that's a marvelous movie. And he's not even, he also did that for Flowers of the Killer Moon, but he's not even doing a physical release on that. And I'm like, oh, damn, I don't want to, how am I supposed to see this movie now? If like with my Netflix embargo.
Yeah, I think
I love the theater experience. It's the best way to watch a film.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm gonna look. I have no interest in Avatar. I'm gonna go see Avatar, Blood and Ass, or whatever it's called.
You've been talking crap on that movie for 9 months on our podcast.
Yeah, it's crap, but you know what? I'm gonna go watch it because I'm gonna go watch it on the big screen. I'm gonna go watch the visuals, and then much like every other Avatar movie, I'll walk out and I'll completely forget within 5 minutes what happened because there's no characters worth remembering and there's no story there that's worth remembering. But I'll be like, man, that was kind of pretty.
Jake Sully lost a son in the last movie.
Oof.
Did he?
4 hours later.
Yes. I don't remember his name. I think it might have been the
I
oldest
remember
one.
there was a dude named
happened.
Spider who said bro a lot. I remember that because it was so cringe.
Yeah. Are you gonna go see Avatar, Dylan?
No, that is I see a lot I've seen like 53 movies this year in theaters. I'm not gonna see Avatar. I haven't seen any of the Avatars in theaters, and I wear that as a badge of honor. Those I hate those.
Oh
movies.
man.
I didn't see the second one.
movies
The first
suck.
one. The first one
was
I saw
pretty
because-
good. The second one's
First
pretty
one
decent.
sucks. They all suck.
The first one's a
These movies are
remake of his
bad.
very own Aliens. We had this conversation before, and I got a lot of crap for it. And bring
This
it
was a
on
terrible
again.
take.
It's a
It's
great take.
It's a bad
It's
take.
I saw
it's Fern Gully with fucking dances.
Dances with
Yeah.
Wolves.
Dances
Yeah,
with Wolves,
it's
yeah.
Pocahontas. It's all 3 of those movies. It's I didn't see the second one in theaters, and it was all on
There's
the
a
water.
45-minute swimming scene that if they removed it would have been better. That's all I can say.
You know what's funny is all the toys from last year's movie that didn't like I never saw them at retail except for a very small selection at Walmart for like a week. Never saw them anywhere. They're all at Ross now. They all showed up this year, and they got like the whale, like a remote control whale, and they've got like the different like play sets and things. I actually bought one of the play sets just because it's like a coral reef, and I was like, I tossed the little Avatar figures, and I was like, well, this is I'm going to put in a thing and I'm going to mount my merman figure on there, my He-Man merman figures. And he's got like a nice little like display stand.
There you
I was
go.
hoping it was your
There you
Zoolander merman figure.
I can put Aquaman there. It'll be interchangeable, so I can put other characters in there. You
Oh,
know,
that's cool.
Aquaman or it'll be cool.
Did you see Zootopia 2, Dylan?
yes, I did.
Was it good?
It's okay. It kind of just re-explored a lot of stuff in the first movie. It was okay.
Damn. What'd you think, Neon?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I think, I mean, yeah, did it rehash some of the first movie? Yeah, I think Disney is going to start playing it safe now because they've had so many, strikes. They're like, yeah, we can't risk alienating the audiences, so let's just give them more of the first. But I think my expectations were on the floor, and I was worried they were going to pull Wreck-It Ralph 2. I don't know if you've seen Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Oh,
That's awful.
It was
God,
horrible.
terrible.
It was like a big commercial, but it had like this weird frame rate that like almost gave me a seizure because it kept jumping.
Yeah, they basically destroyed the characters in the second movie. They deconstructed the whole relationship between Ralph and Vanellope, and I'm like, well, then what the hell was the purpose of the first movie if you're just going to do that? And I thought they were going to do that in Zootopia 2 because it looked kind of dicey there for a while that the furries were going to fight, and I'm like, no, okay, it was a solid movie. It felt like something Disney would have made 10 years ago, and I think we're going to see more of that. I mean, you got to remember these movies take years to work through the pipeline. But I think the memo has gone out, like, knock the woke shit off, give people what they want. Yeah, it's got to play in China. It's got to play in Russia. Maybe not Russia, but China, definitely. We like China. And, we got to do stuff that's going to work in the theme parks, and we're not going to explore the child's sexual identity in the movie, and Buzz Lightyear is going to be Buzz Lightyear. So, yeah, I think they've gotten the memo. Now, whether or not audiences are going to go back,
Apparently so. Zootopia.
Yeah,
They went
well,
back to
it did good.
Zootopia.
That's the
biggest
thing. I mean,
opening ever.
Disney, for them to fail as hard as they've failed, they've had to try. They had to try to fail. Like Disney, the Disney brand, up until recently, was so you could slap Disney on anything, people will go see it, right? They'll at least give it a chance.
Except the Good Dinosaur.
yeah,
It's a good movie
Elio.
too. It's fine.
it was slow. It was okay. It was, I mean, honestly though, it did better than freaking Elio. And Elio was like, everybody forgot was even in the theaters. But
well, and again, that was one that the guy was trying to insert all kinds of identity politics.
oh, they had to walk it back. Yeah, he was like, oh yeah, it's all about this. How old is Elio? Like 11, 12. It's about this kid's sexual identity, and he wants to be like a fashion designer. I'm like, oh yeah, that's gonna play real well with families.
I mean, you can make that movie, but you got to make it on the cheap. You got to make
Netflix.
it so cheap because
That's a Netflix movie.
It's going to be a very niche audience that
Yeah.
Inside Out 2 was really good. My kids loved it. So I'm expecting Zootopia 2 to hit something.
Yeah, it did like $500 million opening weekend globally. And that was another, like, Zootopia, people don't realize that Disney's got like every studio's got a tier of movies that they make for foreign audiences, right? People are like, why are they still making Michael Bay Transformers movies? Why are they still making Pirates of the Caribbean movies if they're not doing well in the US? Well,
they're doing Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar. Case in point, does gangbusters overseas.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Aquaman did the same thing.
Mm-hmm. No, awkward silence.
We all start thinking about Aquaman. That's why we were like, oh,
well, I was thinking like Aquaman does like $1 billion. We go from that and like, look, I'm not trying to shit on James Gunn's Superman because God knows a lot of people have been shitting on James Gunn's Superman, but like, can I swear? Fucking Aquaman.
Go for it.
Aquaman does almost $1 billion, and a few years later, we got a freaking Superman movie, and it doesn't do as well. Riddle me this: what the hell? You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
Chinese don't care for Superman.
Apparently, they don't care for Fantastic Four either, because that did even worse.
Yeah. I actually liked it.
I thought the Fantastic Four was pretty good. I thought the casting was bad, but everything else about the movie was good.
Yeah, I mean,
except for Galactus. I mean, he looked cool, but he was dumb. Cool. He was dumb as hell, and the way that they fought him was dumb as hell.
Dylan is just got his panties in a bunch when he whined about that. That was
Dylan's right.
That Galactus was retarded in that movie.
How do you be one of the most powerful villains in comic book history? You just push him. Just shove him in the black hole.
Just push him for a couple miles while he's just slowly falling.
Why have we never thought of that?
Stooges. Like, oh no, how do I? Whoa.
The idea that Galactus wouldn't be able to see the things that
but
Richard had set up and immediately go, oh, I see what's happening here.
Well, I mean, this is a movie where they're going to move the planet with teleporters, right? So it's kind of like, I mean, I like the idea that they had like 60s comic book logic there. Like, yep, we're just going to take the planet and just zap it over there. Yeah, that's it.
Silver Surfer destroys every teleporter except for that one. And then Galactus is there at that teleporter and is like, all right, I'll just finish this. Instead, he's like, no, I'll leave that completely intact.
Yeah. Well, it always cracks me up when
the Superman
using the power that like they were given by the being against the being, and the being just doesn't go, okay, let me just take that back. Like at the end of that Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider, I'm gonna keep this power and I'm gonna use it against you, and Mephisto be like, no, you're not. Bullshit. Yoink.
But the Superman movie had people yelling commands and typing commands for our coded Ultraman to beat up Superman. That was pretty stupid.
That doesn't even compare to how stupid Galactus was.
Yeah, that was way more dumb.
Of course, no, because that's Lex keeping Superman it within, not like
literally moves at the speed of light, dude.
Yeah,
you could not type.
Have you read a comic book? No one should be able to touch Superman then.
Exactly.
No one should be able to touch the Flash. That would be always a problem.
You have to shoot him with kryptonite and slow him down.
No, because before you can even pull the trigger, you couldn't do it.
Like when again,
telling me he has to fight in a tournament.
None of this stuff. Like if you're using this logic, then there would never ever be a good Superman Flash comic. Anyone that can move fast, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, the moment Captain Cold and Heatwave show up and they're like, pew, 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 yeah, we're gonna draw out the Flash, and then all of a sudden their guns are gone, and they're like, what happened? And then they're in jail, and they're like, what happened?
Their pants are down.
Technically, when Flash ran by them, they would turn into Viscera and be atomized because he moves so fast with his
because the
density.
Speed Force, that's why he can hit him and not shatter every bone in his hand or kill them, is because of the Speed Force. Look, Mark Waid explained this to me in the Boom Office one.
But all I'm saying is the way that they were fighting Superman with Ultraman was fucking dumb. That's all I'm putting it out. It's far dumber than the ending of Fantastic Four.
No, it is not.
No, I don't think it's dumber than the Fantastic Four.
Yes,
because it's like I can I don't know. I can see Superman not. I can't see a being of phenomenal cosmic power like Galactus being like pushed for a mile, 4 miles.
But dumb old Superman from the fucking farm can be had. Yeah,
Yeah,
your anti-Midwestern fucking rhetoric is.
What do you mean?
played
He
out,
beat
Aaron.
him. Superman beat him. That's the thing we're talking about. Galactus lost. Superman won.
Talk about the first fight where he loses.
Yeah, and then he comes back and beats him. That's how. Haven't you ever read a Stan Lee Spider-Man comic?
Listen, dude.
Literally every single time a villain was
We're not
introduced,
talking
they
about
beat the
that.
shit
We're
out of
talking about
Spider-Man, and then
Superman's
Spider-Man beats him the second time. Happens
All his
every
buttons
time.
all the time. Why are
This
you
is
always calling us
classic.
buttons?
What? That was Aaron who called you guys retarded.
Exactly.
You know?
I did not.
Wicked.
I did not call. I just said
I
that
didn't even.
the
Wes.
Midwest. The Midwest moves at a slower pace. Just they have a
Yes.
slower
Oh,
pace.
you
of
said
life.
it.
Yeah, you guys
You
can't
said
think
they
real fast.
Here's
That's
the
I
fine.
didn't say
thing.
they. No, I didn't say
Think
they
on
were
my feet.
slower mentally.
He's
Dylan,
from
you're
Kansas.
Dylan.
Let's just type the commands. He's not
Dylan-
fast enough to keep
Dylan,
Dylan, I-
explain it to Wes, please.
I was on your side, Dylan. What are you doing to me?
Oh man. So Dylan, what was the best superhero movie of the year?
It was Superman. Wasn't a great year for superhero movies, but Superman was far
I
and
did
away
not
the
go
best
there.
one. It was better
What
than
do you
Fantastic
think was-
Four. It's better than Thunderbolts. It's better than Captain America.
I went with Thunderbolts.
K-pop Demon Hunters. Is that the
Technically, K-pop Demon Hunters might be the best superhero movie of the year,
Yeah.
but I'll go with classic superheroes. I think Thunderbolts was better, although the ending sucked. What do you think, Neon? What's the best superhero movie?
The ones I've seen, my wife has watched like everything. I think she liked Thunderbolts quite a bit. I just haven't gotten around to watching it. I mean, from what I've seen, I like Fantastic
There's
Four.
like a charm to it, surprisingly.
Yeah, I like Fantastic Four. I did. I mean, I hate Superman, but I wanted a Superman movie, not a Terrifics movie with Superman in it.
No, it's James Gunn. You get a team movie. You get a team.
Yeah,
movie.
I did. I mean, I get we don't want to do just Superman origin versus Lex Luthor again. Yeah, it did feel like you're just picking up a book off the rack and being like, oh yeah, it's got all these other characters in it. That's cool. But I felt like it was like too much too soon. And Superman got lost in his own movie. But I think the cast was great. I like the cast. But
They made Mr. Terrific pretty badass, which I thought was shocking.
yeah, I thought that was. But again, it felt like it was a Terrifics, like a backdoor pilot. And Superman just happened to be there.
Thankfully, Tom King superfan James Gunn didn't put any of Tom King's Mr. Terrific in there, so he wasn't talking about how I'm glad my wife and baby died.
Oh my god, man.
Sus Jim, what do you think was the best superhero movie this year that you saw?
I said I didn't see anything, but I did see K-pop Demon Hunters, and I like that. So,
It's
yeah,
delightful, isn't it?
you
My
guys are
kids are
talking
still
about
making me
things
watch
that-
it.
you could start talking about Aquaman, and I'll still yell spoilers. I haven't seen shit, so I really
Well,
haven't.
The only thing you need to know about Aquaman, Jim, is apparently the only way to end a scene, when you want to transition from one scene to another, is an explosion.
There you go.
It
No matter what's going on.
it works.
It does work.
The first Aquaman's a lot of fun. The second
It
one
is.
sucks, but the first one's fun.
Yeah.
How about this one, Del? What is the best DCEU movie that they made?
Well, I like
All the
Man
way
of
to
Steel.
Aquaman, Kingdom of Atlantis, I guess, starting out with Man of Steel.
I like Man of Steel. I go with Man of
Man
Steel.
of Steel's number one?
Yeah.
What do you think, Sully?
The Flash. I liked it. Sorry.
You think
I
it's
liked,
the best?
Yep, and I also liked Zack Snyder's Justice League a lot too. I like that he took time to tell the story.
lot
and
of
probably
time.
Wonder Woman 1.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'd
You
say Wonder
agree
Woman
that
won.
The Flash was the best DCEU movie?
Me? No. Wonder Woman
Oh,
won.
He said Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman won. No, the Flash.
It was a wreck.
The Flash was
You got-
fun.
It was comic booky, right?
Yep.
But like,
It was hilarious.
This
like
wasn't
the
a
room
Flash
was
comic.
hilarious. Yeah.
I
You-
love
you-
I love Batfleck in the gray and blue. That looked great. I
Yeah,
love
yeah. I would like.
Is that what the movie was? Or was it
No,
a
but
Flash
we had a-
movie?
No,
Yeah,
there were
the Batman-
multiple
it was a-
Batman.
It's like when you say a
Batman
comic book's
movie.
good because there's a one panel of onomatopoeia. It's like, what about the rest of the story, Sully? You can't get so distracted like a goddamn dog.
Okay,
Shiny.
so let me put to you this way:
Oh.
the movie wouldn't have been as bad if we had somebody else playing Barry Allen. In my
Yes,
opinion,
that wasn't Barry Allen, first of all.
no, it's not Barry Allen at all. But then you have two of him. and they're both insufferable for most.
I
of
made
the
it
movie.
45 minutes into the film.
And that was Barry's learning journey. He learned how much of a negative impact he was having on people, both externally and internally, by dealing.
It
with
was
his
my
younger
learning
self.
journey too, Sully, because I
I'm
learned
waiting
how
for
much
Sully to have
more-
it.
I learned how much more I hate Ezra Miller than I thought I hated him when I went into that film, and I already knew I hated him.
Yeah, 7 minutes I think is all the screen time Michael Keaton had as Batman,
Exactly.
and that's the only reason I watched it at all. Was I'm like, I want to see Brave and the Bold. I want to see Batman, Michael Keaton Batman. I'm here for that 7 freaking minutes, and then he dies like twice, 3 times. How many times did he die? Like 3 times, twice? I don't know.
So Neon's going with Wonder Woman. What's your favorite DCEU movie, Sparrow?
Oh, God, that's tough because I'd say that 2/3 of Wonder Woman. But if I have to choose a whole movie, and I don't even really like it all that much, I gotta go Man of Steel.
I think Shazam is easily the best one.
I keep forgetting that exists. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. I forgot that existed.
I forget it's part of the DCEU because it's so like tonally
weird,
it's so
yes.
different from the rest of it, right?
Yeah,
But I think it's the best one.
Shazam is good. The problem is when it gets away from the Billy Freddy stuff, it's not very good. But it's as a whole, it's a good movie. It's just once you get past that stuff, it's just not very good.
The
And
sequel is very bad.
then replacing Black Adam was not the right choice because they're like, we have the Rock waiting, so we can't use
Yeah.
Black Adam for this.
Yeah, no, The Rock was too big to be in the Shazam, to be the villain in the Shazam movie. You know, he's got to be the only. Yeah, the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change, and it did. It did.
The JSA stuff was the best part of Black Adam. You know what I mean?
Pierce
Yeah,
Brosnan.
Dr.
was the
Fate
best
looked
part.
so cool.
I mean, Hawkman was Hawkman.
Hawkman,
You know what I
Hawkman
mean?
was cool as hell.
And showing the generational strength, 3 generations of superheroes, and I really enjoyed the hell out of that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jim. Do you have a favorite DCE movie?
Shazam was. I forgot about Shazam. I did like Shazam. Like I said, I haven't seen a lot. I saw Flash to know enough that Sully's full of crap. But yeah, I probably Flash. I would Flash. Probably Shazam. I would say maybe.
Very nice. So,
Like I said, I didn't watch many.
Neon, are you having to pop out now?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave. I got an appointment here pretty soon, but no, I definitely appreciate coming on. Thank you very much for having me on. Have to do it again sometime. Nice seeing everybody
Absolutely.
again. Yeah.
Do you have any comic books you want to recommend on the way out the door? Or maybe a reminder of something you got brewing over there at the Clownfish TV?
Most of what we got brewing, I can't talk about yet. Comic books right now. The only thing I'm reading regularly is Energon. I mean, we'll see how it goes now with Kirkman, but yeah, I'm not really picking up a whole lot of monthlies. I usually buy trades, usually buy graphic novels. It's just easier for me.
Mhm.
I don't bag and board. Sorry, guys. I know I don't belong here. I don't bag and board, but thank you very much for having me on. Definitely, it's always good talking to you guys.
Neon could
Appreciate it.
never go on the real BBC.
Okay, all right. I'm sure
Later,
I'm
bro.
listening. Yep. See ya.
Jeez, Aaron, what are you doing? Obscure, weird jokes.
That's not an obscure joke. That's one of the major shows that Nerdrotic does. The real BBC is bag, board, and collecting.
Caleb says,
I
Aaron,
just got sexed up.
on that Devil May Cry show, they made demons from Little Hell an allegory for Mexican immigrants and refugees.
Yeah, I I saw that. That's one of those things where it's just like One World Under Doom, where they're
With the
like, hey,
vampires?
yeah,
in-
the
in Blood
vampires.
Hunt?
It's like
Yeah.
literal bloodsuckers. And you're like, this is an allegory for immigration. It's like, I don't think you're putting out the message that you want to put out there.
No, might be a fail. We got HH the team at Sigma Comics. Shout out to Thinking Critical from Gotham City. Netflix needs a Calico anime. Send the testosterone levels into orbit. That'll shake things up and then some. That's
Huzzah.
thinking that they let you have creative control. I think if Netflix gets a hold of Calico, they might do some things with the character.
Yeah, might do some terrible things.
Yeah. But congratulations. I hope you're enjoying your time off in New York City as we're into the holidays, holiday season. And congratulations on all the success, dude. Awesome stuff. Definitely going to be checking out Here Comes Calico and Green Eye Bandito. Manga format. That's the way to do it. Subhuman 84. If you give free creative control over any DC title, which title would it be and how would you handle it? All right, Dylan, you're the DC guy. What's if you're given free creative control, what character are you doing? What are you doing with it?
Oh man, Deathstroke, because they've messed up Deathstroke for so long. I don't know who I'd put it, because every person they put on there shits the bed and doesn't understand the character. But I'd have to get whoever
you're the creator, you're the writer. You get to decide.
I can't write. I'm not writing nothing.
You'll
I would
fire
have to.
yourself immediately.
Yeah, I'd have to just get whoever it is and that sit them down in the room with Marv Wolfman and be like, "Listen to this guy. This is how this works." He's not. Cause so many.
We going Cyborg Deathstroke?
No, we're not doing it. We're not going Cyborg Deathstroke. We're not giving him the Speed Force again. We're not having the dumbass retarded icons suit. We're doing none of that. We're restoring. We're
Is he
staying
killing
away
a
from
Robin
his-
right out the gate just to establish dominance?
I could just have him kill Batman, you know. Well, we're gonna. That could be cool. Have him kill Batman. We're staying away from his family, because every single time someone takes over, they're like, "I gotta do something with Deathstroke's family." Enough of those storylines. We're going.
I love
somewhere else.
Jericho in his costume though.
I like his family. Oh, did you like how Christopher Priest made him get molested by Slade's coworker
You like
and
that?
then fall in love with him when he's older? That was great. That
love
was a
that
real
part,
good
yeah.
job. That was really cool. Yeah, I'd stay away from all that. I'd get Deathstroke away from his family, and I'd have him doing, just sick, badass stuff. Not
Would you make him a Viking and have to like
that was the best Deathstroke book. It wasn't like great or anything. But it was the best Deathstroke book in a while, because it was like something different. Oh
Yeah.
man, they've massacred Deathstroke.
You guys just took me down the like all these things I'd forgotten about how terrible Deathstroke has been mistreated.
It's been terrible. They Boba Fett him big time. They just throw him in a comic to have him on the cover to be like, see, he's cool. And then they have him get the shit kicked out. No, I'd have him kill Cassandra Cain. That's what I'd do.
Oh.
Yes, that's what I do. I have him come in, beat the shit out of her, kill her, be like, Deathstroke's number one. That's
Nail
what I
Tara
do.
again, right?
That's okay.
Sully would read that
I'm
book.
in charge of this. Not you can
I'm
do
not,
that with
oh,
your
damn
book
it.
if you
Well,
want to do that. I'm not
doing
doing that. No. No.
All right,
That's
Jim,
fine.
which character are you taking? Where are you
Um,
taking that character?
Mine would be Nightwing, my favorite character, and I'd probably erase everything that's been done since maybe
Would you
Kyle
monuments
Higgins.
in his honor
yeah.
to show the
I would
Regis
end up
Media?
well. I'd make him the Pirate King, and then
Yes.
I'd have him wear teddy bear costumes and run around going after a crazy god of the circus. First off, I would have an edict that you got to get away from the circus deal. I know it's his past, but every time that comes up, I laugh when they try to convince us that the acrobats are like known worldwide because it's such a big thing.
Really famous acrobat.
Yeah, the flying Melindas and then the flying Graysons. But no, I would make it more street level. I'd have him by himself. I wouldn't have Batman showing up, and I just want.
Would you make him a secret agent again?
No, I wouldn't do that. At one point, I actually
Detective?
said that I wanted him to be a Hollywood detective, also being like a movie star or something crazy, just to get him away from Gotham, Bloodhaven, and all that. But I'd keep him in Bloodhaven, but I'd make it more very much detective, maybe even make him back on the police force.
So who's he going to be with? Is he going to be with Babs or is he going to be with Starfire?
No, he's going to be with Jay Nakamura. I hear that
Oh,
he
God.
is he's on the market.
Love
again,
triangle.
and, yeah,
No.
I actually think that he's decided that he's now asexual. He's no longer going to bang either one, but literally he's really banging Starfire on the side. It was to make Barbara feel better. This is what it is. But no, I'd actually probably get that wedding. I'd have all that stuff going, but I just want him to be street level, not nonsense. They just don't seem. Dan Waters, I think he just recently said that he's going to continue on the book, even if they do reboot or something, and that he's going to do it street level. But he said that before.
He's already burnt that bridge.
That's
with
what
his
I'm
first
saying.
story that's gone off for 18
Easy
issues.
deal.
Sucks.
It went off the rails. At first, it seemed a little interesting, but then it got really wacky. And now you can tell it's getting rushed to an end, so we could start up something else. But we'll see. But that's what I want. I don't know. The Tom Taylor stuff was just, PR. Hey, Nightwing's great. Nightwing's great. I just wanted, again, like you ended up having Dylan say, I'd also fire myself because I can't write, but I would get the guy and I'd give him Chuck Dixon's run and say, read that and, kind of go with that vibe. That would be the deal.
All right,
And then
Sully.
also in that, I'd also have a actual story where Deathstroke comes in and he's banging Tara. That's what would be the greatest in my book.
Issue 1,
Issue 1 through 12.
opening panel.
Yeah, it was just a splash. You gotta-
No, that's the. You know how like all the rage now is A and B plots in every comic.
yeah,
the B
yeah,
plot is
that's
always
B plot.
Tara just getting banged by Slade.
Like, it has nothing. Nightwing doesn't even know about it. It just keeps happening. It's
the
just
first
going on.
issue, every page is a splash page.
It'd be the best. Yeah, it all ties together and leads to a huge issue, and then ends with Deathstroke banging Tara.
Sully, which character are you taking and where are you taking?
Okay, Firestorm. And since we can't have Carlos Pacheco anymore, I'll choose Chris Samney. And I'll do a year one-ish kind of thing because I really feel that because he premiered in 1978, they didn't have the ages, like looking back in hindsight. So I felt like Firestorm was the last Silver Age character, like by design. There was a learning thing in there. He had all this power, but he had Professor Stein as his inner monologue, as a mentor figure, and also telling him how to use his powers as he's going along. And I like that part where you learn a bit about it. It has a science angle, and I like that. And I love Firestorm's design. Great looking character. I've big fan all my life. And also you can mess around with it too. What if you like gender swapped Professor Stein, and then you would get this like character kind of like Rebus in Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol. You would have like some weird progressive stuff to play with too. You could just like throw it out there just for the shits and giggles. You know what I mean? And that's my thought. Thank you. Good question.
There you go.
Man.
Sparrow, where are you going? Who are you taking with you?
I would want Justice League Unlimited. I'd want to do that in comic form because I pitched that, and we had a really good layout for what we wanted to do. If it's got to be mainline DC, even though there's characters that I would probably gravitate towards more, I would want the Bat family because I would want to kill the Bat family. I think I would want to strip Batman back to
Batman versus Bat Family.
Just not versus Bat family. Just get rid of the Bat family.
A new
Batman
villain
is
that's
more of a
wiping
lone-
them all out.
You got Batman, you got Nightwing, and you got Damian. And that's it. That's it. Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, they're villains again. They're not together. I would just take it.
Jason
back
Todd
to
goes
the
full
things-
villain.
Jason Todd, full villain.
What about Tim Drake and Bernard?
Oh, they're done. They're gone. They're dead. They're dead. They're both dead. Yeah, there's nowhere that you can go with them unless you completely reset Tim Drake and make him heterosexual again. There's nothing that you can do with that character. He's not allowed to be anything except gay.
But that'll upset Megan Fitzmartin there.
Well, I don't care.
Do?
I don't care. And it'll upset the 12 weirdos on Twitter that don't buy the book, but that ship everyone, and just want every comic book to be, Orgy Island, X-Men, no matter what it is. I know that they're going to get upset and they're going to say nasty things and they're going to try to like run me off.
All right, fellas, where are we going with this?
They're going to try to run me off
gotta
Twitter
eat
like they did
eventually.
Tim Silly.
Deathstroke
Well, you
ends
know
up
what?
nailing Tara. That's where
That's
I'm
right.
going.
That's it.
I'm going to do John Kent, son of Superman, and we're going to find out that he's been stuck on that volcano in Earth 3 the entire time. The imposter was set over by Ultraman, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. And the real John Kent is going to come back, and he's still going to be 10 years old. And we're going to get him and Damian back together as pals. That's what I'm going to do.
Best is Damian will think he's too old for him, though. He's like, screw that young kid. But I actually think that we might get the end of if Superman does win the tournament and resets things. I think that's the perfect opportunity to DH John when he resets the world and the continuity. And that's my take on the whole thing. But,
I mean, unfortunately, the only other super kid would be Trinity at that age too. Yeah, if you have 10-year-old John with like the 8-9-year-old Trinity, with, like wearing that Robin costume and all that cutesy.
You get featherweight.
Old in the modern continuity, dude. The Trinity book is in the future.
Yeah,
correct. Isn't she walking around with the baby on her back?
She's pretty young. They're very young at the moment now. So yeah, they could be a baby walking around with it. Maybe Deathstroke goes with that. I don't know. He's pretty sauce.
Daisuke Yamamoto 3705. People don't realize that K-pop Demon Hunters is Final Fantasy X in disguise.
Is it? Is it though?
I don't know. I think it's brilliant.
I think that the thing different with that is I can't remember shit about Final Fantasy X, but I
remember there were big
K-pop
sky. There was Sin was like a big sky whale. Is that right?
Maybe. It was a little more on the rails than I liked in my Final Fantasy games. Was my issue with the but I did get hooked on that in the match.
It's
remember liking
definitely
It's been so long.
a disguised superhero movie.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Calb says Jurassic Afterbirth insults your intelligence.
It does. It absolutely does.
Well, Dylan, you said it was a top 5 movie.
I did not say that.
What do you think?
Like-
You said it was good.
No, I said it was better than the other Jurassic World movies, and those movies are terrible. But no,
Yes.
this one's still not a great movie or anything. It's just better than the other ones.
You
Yeah,
recommended it to me.
Dylan,
It's very.
I have a theory, Dylan. I
What's
think
that?
Wes is a goddamn liar.
What are you talking about?
I don't know if that's more
Liar.
a theory or more just fact.
You're always, oh, you said this. No, I never said anything of the
He
sort.
did, no.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
told me that was a good
I
movie. And I
can
should
tell
Ask-
you where it's at on my list.
Ask
Let's
him
see
about
where
who
it
my
is.
favorite artist is, Aaron. He'll tell you some some lies. Caitlin Yarsky, I'm told.
Oh, that's right. He has said that. He told me that. He told me that
Yeah.
backstage. one time.
Caitlin Yarsky.
Well, that is a joke. I don't. Well,
Jurassic
I did
Afterbirth is
think
what
that
we
Jim
got after
said
my
he liked
kids.
Caitlin Yarsky.
Yeah, no, Caitlin
some
Yarsky.
point. That was weird. Yeah.
Mm.
Daisuke Yamamoto, The Flash was a movie made by Corporal Committee and Ezra cult members. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a terrible piece of crap. That's the only way I can describe it, Dylan. I've never heard anyone describe it as good other than Sully.
It's an interesting movie, that's for sure. Because they went through 80 directors. Everyone just kept dropping out. And then there were so many different cuts of it. And then when they've just hired random people to be like, hey, Tom Cruise, can you say it's the greatest movie you've ever seen? He's like, sure. And it had a lot of interesting stuff surrounding that movie.
I think Ezra Miller did that movie no favors. Yet, I mean, I think that it was a sponge for outrage culture just to latch onto. I mean, the baby in the microwave scene was
The dude is
ripping
a
off
kid-
of
the
Roger
dude is a-
Rabbit. Come
the
on,
dude is a kidnapper.
I'll save you, baby.
Roger Rabbit is not a superhero. He's a Looney Tune.
It's the same kind of opening, like, you know, the I'll save you, baby, the whole antics thing. I mean, you put the baby in the
I don't think
microwave.
superheroes put babies in microwaves.
It was
Yeah,
just
well, you know,
from friction.
When I hear Flash movie, what I want to do is I want to see a Looney Tunes film. That's what I want to see.
Exactly.
I think I had fun with that. I mean, I saw the fun and I saw what the intention was. It wasn't to harm imaginary children. It was like to, you know, protect the imaginary child from friction. You know,
No,
going at super
Sully,
speeds.
it's not funny. It's not good.
Bad kitty.
He says, Aaron, he can't go on the real BBC because he doesn't have effing pronouns in his bio.
Ah, I did see that. I commented that I saw that because I couldn't remember if it was a super chat or not. So I was like, I wanted to make sure that it was known to the chat that I saw that and that I understood that reference.
What is the reference?
The reference is that Az is on the real BBC, and Az blew up when what was it wasn't Concord.
Starfield.
Starfield, maybe
that it?
it was
That's the name of it?
some game came out and it's like Az had a video where he lost it because he's like in the first couple minutes of the game they're asking you your frickin' pronouns, you know, and he got really loud about it as Az tends to do, and it blew up on the internet. People were really mad at him, but and he was like, this game's gonna fail, and they were like, you're wrong, blah blah blah, you know, and calling him all kinds of names. And
It was Starfield.
yeah, he turned out to be right. It failed miserably.
And then he says, Red Hood, I'd tell a modified version of Batman versus Punisher. That man and the bad guy would be antagonists. Give Red Hood back his edge.
Be nice if they
Red Hood
could
should
bring
be a
back
villain.
Edge.
You know what I mean?
He should be a Batman villain. There's no way that Batman would be cool with what he does.
Well, and he came back, you know, he was in the Lazarus pit. He shouldn't come back, you know, he should be fucked up, which he is.
That boy's
Yeah.
not quite right.
Yeah. But you like the Punisher stuff in Night Fight, Dylan?
Yeah, Knife Fight was fun. I liked it.
I thought there was a really good job by Dan Moore changing art styles in the middle of the book, making it look like two people drew it.
Yeah, he does some
Pretty
really
good.
cool stuff in this one.
They should have him do that Boba Fett red, black, and white because he did it better than
I
anybody's
was
done it.
thinking the same thing when it switched to Red Hood. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
What did you think, Jim? Did you get to read that Night Fight yet?
Yeah.
Oh no, you did.
Yeah,
we already
we
reviewed.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't as much of a fan as Dylan was, but the
Yeah.
art was great. I mean, it's
art
hard
was
to
beautiful.
put a book down that looks that good. And like you said, you get that, red, white, and black deal, and it looked even more incredible. There was a couple pages with the rain and Batman that one full page was incredible. It was
Yes,
just
yeah.
incredible. And so the story's what it is. It's just the idea. Hey, they have to have a Batman book, and they put Dan Moore on it, so it looks great. So,
Jim, Wes told me that you said that it was the book of the year, and that the only way it could be better is if it was
it
drawn
could be
by-
better if it was Caitlin Yarsky.
No, yeah, there was a Caitlin Yarsky Batman book that Jim loved the most.
Yeah.
I think.
That I love it. At one point, like I'll say to Wes on our show 2 years ago, you know what? You should give this one book a try. It's okay. For the next 2 years, I hear that it's my favorite book, that it's the best thing ever. And then Wes will read it one week, and I won't, because he hasn't been reading it, and then he'll get mad. You didn't read your favorite
You did
book.
make
This is
me
your
read
favorite book. Oh my God,
Spider-Boy because you said it was
Spider-Boy.
your book of the year.
It was Spider-Boy.
I
There
didn't
we
make
go.
that up.
No, that and Absolute Superman. I got you to read. You liked one issue and then hated it again. But yes, Spider-Boy, legit. I was like, it's pretty good. People are giving it shit. The minute that you start reading these things, though, you're the curse. They all go downhill, and you start yelling at me. And that's the deal. You're the curse.
What I heard you say was besmirching my name was incorrect. That I'm being honest. That's what happened.
Yeah. I don't know.
I would never do that. I wouldn't put words in your mouth.
That is true, but
yeah, that's never happened.
That's true.
I didn't just do it right now.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. But
Mr. DC Comics, comic book battles. DC has been doing a great job with action in their books. Superman, Justice League Unlimited, Batman, Nightfall, #2, Absolute Batman, Green Lantern.
Yes.
They're doing a pretty
I
good
like
job
a
with the
couple of
action.
those.
It must be Night Fight too.
Right.
Yeah. The action is good. I mean, it's a beautiful looking book, and they got some really good artists.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get some
that
fun fight.
DCKO was great.
Yeah, DCKO issue 2 was great. I told you it was
Aquaman.
really good.
Jim
Aquaman's
said it was
action too.
I said it was better than the first. I still don't. I'm not into KO.
Jim was also another hater on our video. I went after he's talking earlier about like people hating on
You
Sully.
wouldn't-
I went to check and I
You had
looked. I saw
comments?
the
Yeah, did you
first comment
see
I
it?
saw was Sully like
This is the thing,
Infernal
Dylan.
Hulk wasn't very good. I
Exactly.
like the art. And
No,
that's
here's the funny thing.
This
to
guy's
go-
hating
Infernal
too.
Hulk.
to
He
go
doesn't
with
sell.
this. To go with this, Dylan, I didn't even watch the video yet, and I knew that you would like it. I think that Wes said,
All
I'm like,
three of us
I'm
liked
telling
it.
you, all I wanted to, I was messing with you completely on that. So I'm glad that you saw that. I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm like, oh, Dylan's on. He's gonna love that Infernal Hulk. Another book that looked great. I'm waiting for a story.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a story, and I'm afraid it's going to continue being not about the Hulk, and it's going to be about that Bridger. And I had enough of that Charlie, who then just disappeared. So I don't know. I'm worried, but
now there's been some really, really good action. Are you enjoying the Superman Prime stuff in Superman there, Sully? You got to be loving it the most.
Yes, please. 2 of these books are on my pull list. That's Superman and Green Lantern. And let's not forget Aquaman. That is pound for pound one of the best books out there and full of action almost every issue. So I'm pleased with that too. But I am so tickled pink with Superman, and especially this Darkseid Legion and the reintroduction of Superboy Prime. And hopefully all the setup is going to have a payoff that we're going to have Superboy Prime in the 31st century with the new Legion. That would be great. That would be great.
Then Daisuke Yamamoto says Batman and the Mad Hatter as the antagonist. It's a classic one.
Interesting. Yeah. He's an interesting villain.
You know who I think would do the best with the Mad Hatter? Aaron Sparrow. He seems like a Mad Hatter kind of guy.
I could write a Mad Hatter story.
A
As long as I
little
don't,
silly.
long as
a
I
little
don't have to
dangerous.
do the little silly, little dangerous. As long as I don't have to go the Grant Morrison route from Arkham Asylum, a Serious House on
No.
Serious Earth.
Mm,
Ooh, that was creepy.
yeah.
I was a kid
What's
when I read
creepy,
that.
the
I was
writing
like,
or the
"Ooh."
art? The art pretty much steals the show on that book.
Mhm.
The art steals the show,
That's
but the
crazy.
writing is creepy. They like Grant Morrison makes Mad Hatter a pedophile, and even as
Yeah.
a kid, I understood what
We
he was
know what
talking
was
about. I
going
was like,
on,
oh,
yeah.
You don't want that. We don't want that. We want the guy that's a little more goofy.
yeah. I want
Like
the
the animated-
animated series.
The Jervis Tetch of the animated series. That's peak.
Even in the Arkham games, if you take him dark, but just not that dark.
So I guess it's time to wrap it up and do some comic book recommendations on the way out the door. Had a really fun time. I think I was supposed to remove the chat. There it is. Didn't go anywhere.
I got a dip, guys.
Keep it up.
So I will.
What do you recommended there, Sparrow?
I got no recommendations. Didn't read anything.
G.I. Joe. Beautiful.
Yeah, okay, if G.I. Joe's out, it's good.
Very, very nice. Bye-bye, Aaron.
All right, later, guys.
See ya.
Jim, are you recommending any books?
I'm going to have a weird recommendation. I'm actually going to recommend Cheetah and Cheshire Rob the Justice League only because I hear nobody talking about it. And it's not as bad as some people would have thought, but it was kind of fun, this issue. It's kind of goofy. And I don't know. It's just a quirky little book, but that's just going to be my weird recommendation. Also, maybe Gotham Academy first year, though it seemed to rush a bit at this point. Actually, I also like JSA. I liked a couple books, but those will be my weird recommendations. There's not a ton of great books, I think, out this week, especially on the Marvel side. And a bunch of garbage, but that'll be my.
I thought Marvel had the best book between Marvel and DC.
Yeah, you're ridiculous.
Was it Ultimate X-Men?
No, it's that Hulk nonsense that he's going to say, that Ryan North Hulk. That
shockingly good.
But that's shockingly good means that you just thought it would suck, and it was better than suck in my mind. It was okay. It was just kind of nothing, but yeah, there you go. Again, JSA though I really liked. I forgot it. I didn't even read it when we did our show, and I read it last night and reviewed it, and actually really enjoyed it. So that might be my main one.
Very
also,
nice,
maybe read Birds of Prey just to see how awful that series was and how fucking terrible it was. And also, Batgirl sucks. You read that this week and didn't understand.
It was not good.
Yeah, but that's it.
You're saying Deathstroke killing her would be an improvement.
That's true. Yes, yes, it would maybe.
That and all the unburied. I would like that to go away.
They should just be buried.
Sully, what do you recommend?
I got a stack of funny books from my local funny book bodega every Wednesday. My pull list and a couple of things off the shelf. I picked up The Adventures of Superman, Book of L, issue 4 by Philip Kennedy Johnson. You could print his name on toilet paper and I'd buy it at this point because you're usually going to get a good time. I've got Nemesis Forever, number 4 by Mark Miller and Matteo Scalera. This is really good, revving up to the big finale. And I'm so happy to be a Miller World aficionado. One of the best books this week is got to be Rook Exodus number 9. This is toyetic. It is fun. It kind of reminds me of old Spider-Man in a way too, because you had Spider-Man and then Spider-Man had all of these animal and insect-based villains, that were in his rogues gallery. So this is in a way very kind of Silver Agey. And I love the narrative voice as well, told from, it's being told from Rook's point of view. And so it's a story told. This is awesome. And my pick of the week, it is G.I. Joe Energon Universe number 15. This is the Eric Canetti variant cover. And I also did something I never really do too much. I picked up an extra copy of issue 13. This is the Canetti cover as well. It's a foil variant. And then the cover's in the inside, and it's the Dreadnoks. So as of right now, I've got 3 out of the 5 Eric Canetti covers. So that's what I'm going for is 5 for 5 because I'm a huge Eric Canetti fan. Eric Canetti is also a comics aficionado, one of us. And thank you so much, everyone out there in TV land and in the chat and on the panel. Had a great time. Thank you so very much, Wes. Cheers.
Jim, are you going to let him get away with that for disrespecting you like that?
How? Who?
Jim is no fan of PKJ, and he thinks he's a fraud.
Oh.
Jim left?
Jim must have fell down and whacked, and you know what
I
mean?
No, I muted my mic because my dog started.
Yeah, he was just singing praises for PKJ during that time when he had it. It just
I
slipped his mind that Book of L came out.
I was like, what is he talking about? I love that PKJ.
He would buy the PKG toilet paper, I swear. He would and use it.
Yeah, I don't know. Some guy in the chat loving that 2 years Ultimate Universe. That book sucks. And this is the thing. He goes, oh, you just hate camp. No, I hate crap. Is what I hate. And that guy writes like shit. So it's nothing to do with anything but that. But yeah, PKJ, I've said to you, I think he's a good writer. I don't know. It just doesn't hit with me. It just doesn't go with me.
You put him on Fraud Watch weeks ago.
Well, I did. No, I said that I think that people elevate him, and I think that he's not as good as that. And I do think the problem will be with Dylan and whatnot. He writes Superman the best, and now he can't. It's just
That is sad.
It sucks. I mean, that was his thing, and you could have gotten the whole play of getting more and more of his stuff. It's just not for me. Also, the guy second print doesn't mean shit. The guy's like, oh, nonsense. That Dennis Camp sucks. He's terrible. He's on fraud watch. He ends up where it's like, hey, I got to write another issue, and then just bong hit. It's out of the. That's all it is. It's just fever dreams and fucking being high. But yeah, there you go. See, I'm more mad at Dennis Camp than PKJ now.
Well, you've been talking so much crap on PKJ. I thought you would have jumped in there, but that's fine.
I didn't even hear Sully doing. I was trying to calm my dog down, but again, like I said. People like him, and then it's the idea. I don't think anybody hates PKJ. It's just people love him or they don't really deal with him. I don't know. I think he's a better writer at DC, though. It's a shame.
All right, so we got Dylan. What are your recommendations this week, buddy?
I'm gonna say Night Fight #2. It was fun. It's worth it for the art alone. It's not a groundbreaking story or nothing, but it's enjoyable. It gets some really good Dan Mora action. Superman vs. Atom #1 versus Captain Atom. I enjoyed that. We're finally getting into the fights of DCKO. It was crazy. Get some cool stuff in there. JSA #14. This was definitely one of the better issues of JSA. I enjoyed it. Adventures of Superman: The Book of L #4. Really digging that. G.I. Joe #15. Everyone's already talked about. G.I. Joe's great. Rook Exodus #9. Like Sully was saying, Rook Exodus continues to be great. Some haunting moments in this one. And then Giant Size Criminal #1. We got the first single issue of Criminal in like 4 years. And, that's always solid.
Very, very good.
Yeah. So,
all right. Well, that will do it. I guess we'll wrap it up. And if you want to talk about the UFC, DM Dylan. He'll be watching it tonight. A lot of big fights.
Yeah, good card today.